Hey everyone, you're listening to 4Player Podcast, a weekly live show about video games. We hope you'll stick around for another year of gaming discussion, fantasy critic hijinks, and of course, general shenanigans here at 4Player. Before we start this episode, we want to send a thank you out to everyone who listens and give a quick welcome to any newbies. I'll try to keep this short because this is, and always will be, an ad-free show. We've been at this since 2008, so if you like what we do, please subscribe and leave a review on your preferred podcast service. Join us in our Discord at discord.gg/4player, or, if you're so inclined, throw us a couple bucks a month on Patreon. We record these episodes live every Tuesday night on twitch.tv/4playerpodcast, all spelled out, and episodes hit podcast services on Friday morning. You can find all the links you need at 4playernetwork.com. But enough about that, let's get started. Thank you. One of us did. Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 837. It is June 3rd, 2025. Welcome to the show. We're here to talk about video games, as we do once per week, every Tuesday night on twitch.tv/4playerpodcast. And you know what? It didn't even really register to me that it was Summer Games Fest until like a couple days ago. So I wanted to spend some time tonight before we really talk about what we've been playing and stuff, and just talk about what's coming up this week, because we got some stuff. There is a freshly announced State of Play happening tomorrow, which apparently is hefty.
Whoa, there's some juicy stuff out there floating around.
There's some, I know what you're referring to.
A lot of copium in the air.
Yeah, it is copium season. That's
Silk Song got some updates.
A lot of people think they're going to see some crazy things tomorrow.
Wait. Okay.
You didn't hear about Silk Song?
No.
I heard about Silk Song.
Yeah. There's
some
going.
That's cool. I mean, their like release and marketing strategy for that game is psychotic, but.
Mm-hmm.
Am I being punked right now?
It doesn't feel
not.
fake anymore, right? Like it's coming, but fucking talk to Brad over here about what he thinks is happening tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's not things. It's all but guaranteed.
There's evidence.
Although
Jason Schreier is not going on vacation, so we can't be certain of this happening.
No.
Okay,
so the Final Fantasy Tactics
mobile gacha game is coming out.
No.
Oh,
the Final Fantasy Tactics was on the NVIDIA leak.
Yes.
It was on the NVIDIA leak.
How many years can we keep referring to the NVIDIA leak?
Until games that were on it are still not out.
That was only 3 years ago.
Yeah, there's no.
The NVIDIA leak was
that was
3 years ago.
It's got to be like 18 years ago.
That was years before COVID.
It was like pre-2020 for sure.
3 years ago. 3 years ago.
There was a lot of maybe 2020.
I'm looking it up now, but I'm pretty certain it was 2022.
2019.
It was not 2022.
Okay, before we get into the Matsuno thing, seriously, what's going on with Silk Song?
Okay, it's not. Okay. Well, it was Jason Schreier, who has talked pretty candidly about knowing it exists, went on Twitter or Blue Sky.
You just skipping right past the Silk Song thing, huh?
I'm
literally over here asking you to clarify what the fuck y'all are talking.
Type Silk Song into Google, man.
This is a video game podcast, and I'm asking you about a video game.
But it's not like there was a trailer or anything. There was like a back end update which hasn't happened in years
could
or
tease
something.
a sudden shadow drop.
Holy shit! Yeah. Was it that hard to tell me with your own words? God damn!
We're talking about real spicy.
There was a back end update in Steam that added some cover art and stuff.
All right, that's all I needed.
It would be exciting if they weren't just in a Nintendo Direct with the year 2025.
Yeah.
It's not as exciting anymore. So Song is coming. We know
it exists.
I don't know. I don't know shit.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what I was saying, is that Silk Song feels real, it exists, we know it's in the ether, it's gonna drop at some point. The crazy made up bullshit that Brad's talking about.
Okay, first of all, so Jason Schreier has talked pretty candidly about knowing that this exists in the past. He also went on Blue Sky today saying, "Hey, Final Fantasy Tactics is one of the greatest games of all time, don't you think?" Some shit like that, which is out of the fucking blue. Also,
but I mean,
but that was one thing that was okay, well, he's maybe the most reliable source of anything in this industry in terms of leaks or reporting, right? Now, that was great, right? But then Yasumi Matsuno, the creator of Final Fantasy Tactics, retweeted the state of play and then later deleted that retweet after someone probably from Square Enix said, "Hey, you can't just retweet that, bro."
He actually got a message. He actually got a message from Sony saying you can't retweet that and get people excited for your bullshit gacha game that we're announcing tomorrow. That's what they said.
Listen to this fucking guy.
Between those two things, it's a
and
fucking
then unretweeted it.
Yeah.
Also, Jason Schreier, like no one is contesting his veracity and his source of information. But he's also tweeted stuff before that everybody took the exact wrong way, and then he was like, "Oh, that's not what I meant." Like,
okay.
Is Jason Schreier
you are
the
like
Taylor Swift
hostile
video
about
game
this, like I fucking
journalist?
drafted it in Fantasy Critic. Okay,
no, I know.
I'm just a
it's
Final Fantasy
interesting-
Tactics fan talking to a fellow Final Fantasy Tactics fan.
I know. I think it's first of all, I think it's funny because we've been to this dance before, haven't we?
Yeah, but you're right. You're right.
But also,
we've also seen year
the
after
conversation's
year.
more interesting if it's adversarial. I mean, I really do hope.
I do have more shit to say about this topic, so hang on. I will say,
Brad.
when these leaks happen like the day before, like during Gamer Hanukkah, like it is this week,
I love it.
when the leaks happen like the day before, that's just the actual things just leaking all over the place. That stuff is almost always actually real.
And we
because
do know
everything
that
always gets spoiled beforehand.
We do know that tomorrow's State of Play is like one of the big ones, right? It's 40 plus minutes long, and we got Death Stranding 2 coming out this month.
Yeah.
We've got the Ghost of Yotai,
and there's other stuff.
Thing. So this is going to be like
it's a state of play. It's not a showcase though.
Hold on.
but it might as well be a
just fucking
showcase.
terminology. Who gives a shit, bro? Listen. On the topic of Final Fantasy Tactics, all I want to say is it's very exciting for me, not because I want to replay a game that I already have on 18 different systems or whatever. Like Tactics Ogre Reborn was a remake based, like in terms, like from the ground up and all but visuals, a remake of Tactics Ogre, which they had done twice before. Final Fantasy Tactics had never had that sort of attention. Like they had a PSP version of that game, but it wasn't like the same as what's been happening with Tactics Ogre, where they've been rebalancing, like basically
It's War of the Lions,
the way
right?
that game, like they just ripped out like the innards and like rebuilt the game. That's what happened with Tactics Ogre. So much so that like playing one of like that Tactics Ogre Reborn was like, it's like literally playing a new game. At least for me, playing a new game. And Final Fantasy Tactics has never been like that. And I'm excited for the potential that even if this is a remaster, that they're going to go in there and really fuck with all the innards, rebalance that game because it's so easy to break it, maybe make new systems, completely change how all the classes work. It's very exciting for me, no matter what we see tomorrow. Now, if it has like some sort of visual overhaul, that would be cool too. But, I'm a gameplay girly anyways. So who cares? As long as it doesn't look terrible.
When they did Tactics Over, did they like add voice acting to the game?
Yeah, it's a fully voice acted game. So that's also very likely.
If they did that to Tactics, that would be
dude.
But it could.
Yeah, but is Ramza going to be voiced?
I dare to hope. But also, what if they add Vieira? What if they add the bunny ladies back in?
Okay. You keep that shit in Tactics Advanced, motherfucker. That's Final Fantasy 12.
That is the only way I will play this.
How dare you?
In Final Fantasy 14 as well.
This
like
is
the
the age
lost
of humans.
Evilise continent is also where the Vieira come from. So
Fully voice acted is nice. They had a few cutscenes in the PSP version of Final Fantasy Tactics, and Ramza was voiced by Phil Lamar.
What?
I don't know if they get Phil Lamar back, but that'd be pretty sick. Yeah.
Question, serious question. Because when the Tactics Ogre remake came out, it was on the PSP, right?
It's never been remade. There was a port to PSP with like some new classes and stuff. But
wait, you were just talking about a Tactics Ogre remake.
Oh wait, are you talking about Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics?
I'm talking about Tactics Ogre.
Tactics Ogre came out like a few years ago. It was on the Switch,
on PS5,
and other systems, PS5, 4, whatever. Yeah,
Steam,
Tactics Ogre.
I was gonna ask what platform you think this is. I mean, I guess PS5 is.
Well, if they're showing
it would be
Sony,
Final Fantasy Tactics would just be everything, just like Tactics Ogre.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited. I hope that they go even a step further and they do like a HD 2D thing. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of don't want a completely new art style, but we'll see. It's very exciting. Yes, Chris Davis.
I thought the
It's gonna
tactics
be
that they
it's gonna be
released on
perfect in every way, except it's gonna be kind of ugly.
I'm okay with that. Although I think Final Fantasy Tactics is a beautiful game, and it's
Brad's actually like, I hope it's ugly.
I just want Final Fantasy Tactics with the voice acting that plays great. I want it to feel like a new game to me is really what I want. Anyways,
Don't we all?
there's other stuff in this supposed state of play / other things happening this week. Another thing that leaked apparently, or has been leaking for a long time, is Resident Evil 9.
Yeah.
Dusk Golem he has a history of being not reliable.
Considered a resource, but not necessarily being accurate 100% of the time.
But it seems like more recently people have been more trustworthy because he's fucked up in the past. Like he had Resident Evil 3 remake completely wrong, Resident Evil 8 completely wrong. He had a Resident Evil Revelation
in terms of what it was,
that never existed.
Wait,
in terms of like the
was?
details, because he would always go into like the details of like you're playing as this character and there's this setting and this story element. He goes deep, and he's been doing that with Resident Evil 9. His track record has been better lately, so everyone just sort of agrees that he's probably in the right.
It's also possible that in the past he was describing versions of the game that existed at one point and then were scrapped in favor of other things.
Which is what he says. He's sort of like famously like backpedals and like moves goalposts and stuff. I mean, that's. But I don't think he's
think he's back there like saying I gotta just make some shit up to get some notoriety. Yeah, like, I don't think that's what's happening.
His source or sources are weird. Like I don't know what he has access to, but it's not. He never just comes out. It's just he's a weird guy. But today, Nate the Hate, who's a much more reliable leaker, sort of like confirmed that what
Feed just
Dusk Golem was saying was true.
No, it did.
So now people are like, okay, he got +2'd or whatever. Dusk Golem got +2'd by Nate the Hate. So it sounds like it's happening and it's real, and we are supposed to see it this week, and they're saying 2026.
Do we think it's tomorrow or do we think it's on Friday?
It could be either or, I think. I think it could be either or. It could be state of play, it could be Keeley's thing. But
so
when they say 2026, remember Resident Evil is usually like January, so we could be playing this pretty soon.
So one of the most interesting things about the most recent the most recent batch of Resident Evil 9 leaks is that supposedly I'm talking like take characters out. I'm talking they're talking about like the style of game is something totally new. Like it's not like Resident Evil 7 and 8. And it's not like Resident Evil pre-7. It's something like
it's supposed to be semi-open world, kind of like the hub and spoke system of what they did for Village.
But I'm also talking about like it's supposedly it's not first person. The camera angle is different. Like there's talk about it.
A Strand game.
It could be a Strand game.
Maybe more horror. There's a lot of details out there if you really do follow like.
We just don't know which ones to believe or not at this point.
What if
it's all from Dusk Golem. That's the thing. All of it's been from Dusk Golem. Now there has been like last year there were some leaks that were getting out there on Reddit, and Dusk Golem says, "No, that's all bullshit. This guy's just making all this shit up." And they're like, "Okay, but like you're not. You don't have the best track record. Are you sure we're not supposed to believe this guy?" But
the last I heard about is that it takes place on like an island in the like Philippines or something.
Singapore, I think, or around that area.
Was it Singapore? Yeah, like
I think something like that. But anyways, it's exciting. It's supposed to be like I think the project originally started as like a very ambitious take on Resident Evil, and I think maybe that's scaled back maybe a little bit because I think it was originally going to be something else. But I don't know. It's exciting. It's a big thing.
Honestly, I want to see them continue to kind of like experiment because I love, even though I don't like 8 as much as 7, it was crazy unexpected and like out of left field in a lot of ways. I want to see them keep experimenting with that kind of shit. So.
I think I heard it's more horror-y this time.
Hell yeah, it's cool for me.
There's something about a witch. Like the way it was described to me, it felt like one of the early prototypes for Resident Evil 4. Like that ghost version that they had.
But like 8 was all about witches. Come on. or not all about. No, I guess it was all about werewolves.
Yeah, but 9 is supposed to be once again about the mold thing again.
We'll see. We'll
go on that. We should have just been reading Dust
So
Golems. Somebody posted a nice summary of all this shit, but whatever.
In the Resident Evil lore, there's like multiple different unrelated kinds of like zombie afflictions.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
right?
It's all bullshit.
And like some of them are science, and some of them are mystical.
supernatural.
Oh, it's all science, but it's get
science.
Twisted into supernatural. There's like
Really?
7 or 8 viruses at this point. Like it's parasites or it's whatever, whatever.
It's
How do you feel about playing as Leon again, though?
Guys, I gotta be honest. They gotta. I mean, I love Leon. I love Claire.
I'm done with Leon.
Chris, Jill. They need to like just introduce some new blood or bring
You
back.
can't
some of the
do that because they just did that with Ethan.
But like Ethan was so much of it. He was more.
He was
just
milk
like
toast the person.
But he
They're
wasn't
all
even
milk
milk
toast.
toast. He was a stand-in for the player practically. I'm talking about like introduce like a
it's
new
first
iconic character,
person?
or bring in a character that like people liked from other games that was like a side character, something that wasn't one of the main characters. I would love to see. They introduced a bunch of characters in 6. They introduced Sheva in 5. I mean, there's been other characters besides though. Go back and think about what is it? Oh my god, what's the episodic one that
Revelations 2.
Revelations 2. Barry, like bring back Barry. I don't fucking know. Like
I don't care about any of it. Like the lore and the characters, they're just a bunch of outfits. Okay, like who gives a shit?
The rumor for a while was that it was going to star Leon, but also Jill was going to be in it.
Well, that
Jill,
but
Valentine.
Jill. I mean, I would much rather have one of the female protagonists come back at this point because I feel like it's been a bit of a sausage fest the past.
It is
for a
fucking
while.
crazy to me that Resident Evil fans, like you go into like a thread of like the hardcore Resident Evil fans, like a Dust Golem, he's one of them. All they're talking about are the fucking characters and the story. It's like, who gives?
I know
a shit?
I know that must hurt you, Brad, but like a lot of people do care about it a lot.
But it's
saying,
Resident Evil. It's
Brad,
like
but this
that
goes,
is not what
you used to chastise me for this exact same thing, and I don't necessarily feel that way about it anymore.
I'm saying that's all they talk about. It's
okay,
like that's the draw. We come here for Jill Valentine.
But like
that's
there
crazy.
was a time when I felt pretty similar to that. Like I was in it for that kind of thing.
No,
for a while. You used to make fun of me for it all the time.
For the gameplay, you used to want a survival horror game. You're very picky about what you want Resident Evil to be.
But I'm
saying it's crazy.
But I'm planted very firmly in the opposite camp of you, which is who gives a shit. I certainly give a shit. I don't think it's the be all end all, but like I definitely care.
Well, then you're
about
not the
that
kind
stuff.
of person I'm talking about. You're just not. Maybe you used to associate with those people, but I'm saying like it's fucking crazy. Like no one's talking about what's the combat gonna be like. They're just talking about we want Jill, not Leon, and
they should
this
bring
virus
back
and
that
this
lady
virus
from Operation Raccoon City.
No,
remember her?
Let that never remove that from existence. Just no.
Bring them all back, dude.
The person I'm talking about. It's funny. I'm talking to you, and I'm describing Chris Davis. You're saying I'm like Chris Davis. I'm like you're not like Chris Davis.
You're not.
Bring
I
back.
can't even tell this is a positive or negative context. I don't like this.
You take it.
I can't
you
either,
want, bro.
Bring back Rebecca.
Bring back the chick from Resident Evil 6 that whose name I can't remember, but I was like, I like this chick, but like I hate this game.
Who are the two characters?
It doesn't matter. They're costumes.
Elena?
They're just costumes.
Costumes are great, Brad. What is the
I
problem
know,
with
but
costumes?
you did the fucking people are talking about the people like they're more than just costumes is what bothers me. Anyways, also, we're probably maybe going to see on the Sony State of Play a thing that's been rumored and leaked and talked about a little bit. A Greek God of War game.
That's a Metroidvania.
Which now we know.
They've done 3 of those.
I literally mid-sentence.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There's a comma and 2 words after the comma.
You're going so slow. We gotta go. We gotta go.
We do a 3-hour podcast every week. What are you talking about? We gotta go.
I also wanted to steal your thunder, so there you go.
Okay, fair. At least
Wait,
you're being
no.
honest.
I just need one of
2.5
y'all to finish the sentence.
Try a 2.5D Metroidvania. We're hearing now that this Greek God of War project. When this was
Are
a
you
Grub,
serious?
earlier this year, Grubb mentioned that like he was speaking again pretty candidly, confidently that this thing existed. We kind of trust his Sony sources, right? He knew about Astrobot and stuff last year.
So
he
this
said,
is not
there's
supposed
going
to
to be
like
a Greek.
the next.
He's been saying temper expectations. He says it's going to happen this year. It is going to be. It's a Greek God of War thing. It is not like a remaster or anything of the existing games. It is a new thing.
And it's
But
not a
he said,
follow-up to
kind of
Ragnarok.
maybe
It's-
temper your expectations. And to me, he was suggesting that it wasn't going to be like a big mainline budget or like even maybe an expansion that was like a Greek God of War thing. That maybe it was going to be something slightly different. Now we're hearing that it is a 2.5D Metroidvania. I was.
That's kind of.
I was. It does sound sick, but like who's developing, right?
Yes.
Is it Mercury Steam? Why do I keep thinking Mercury Steam? Probably.
Why do
That-
they
because
have
that's-
dreams. They live rent
Do you know
free in
why?
your
Do you know
head.
why? Because they once made a 2.shitty whatever the fuck Castlevania game for the DS, and it just played like
Mirror
it was
of
like
Fate?
God of War or something. Mirror of
But
Fate
they
was like a
also
God of War
made-
game.
But they also made Metroid Dread, which was a pretty sick 2D.
It's true. It's true.
Metroidvania.
Someone
That
pulled
was
up
literally a
a
Metroid game.
someone pulled
True.
up an interview of like the director of God of War Ragnarok.
Uh-huh.
Corey Balrog?
Not
No,
Corey
no,
Barlog?
Barlog?
No, I don't. Not Barlog.
The other one.
Some other guy. I don't know. Maybe
Did
did Barlog actually direct Ragnarok? It was another guy, the
Yeah.
other guy high up on that team or whatever. He was being interviewed, and it was a clip, and he was just geeking out about how much he would love like a Metroidvania and how like Symphony of the Night's like his favorite fucking game, and like so like
Eric
if
Williams?
it has all led to this, then that makes sense. It makes sense. Could it be cool though? I feel like when you think of God of War, you think of like crazy spectacle and scale and set pieces and stuff. Like, can you capture that in a side-scrolling Metroidvania game? Maybe.
I can picture.
What's it
PSP
called?
games.
The 2. Oh God, come on!
Chains of Olympus.
No, the 2.5D Metroid game from way back when that was based on that old fucking like novel. Oh God, what is it called? And they were gonna do a sequel, and it got it was like a old Orson
Shadow
Scott Card.
Complex.
Shadow Complex, yeah.
Yeah, that game is
Oh,
cool. That
Orson
game
Scott
is
Card.
cool.
There's some pretty big cinematic moments in that game, and it's a 2.5D. Metroid.
What about Batman Arkham Blackgate or whatever
Dude,
the fuck?
I was just thinking about Blackgate the other
Made
day.
by
That game
the
is
people who
sick.
worked on Metroid Prime.
Mhm.
That's
That
pretty cool.
that was Rocksteady though, and I mean
That was Armature. Blackgate,
Oh,
right?
was that?
Yeah. That was
Yeah, it
that
was
was
Armature.
Oh,
That
Which was a
was built
studio
here in-
formed by previous Retro
Retro Studios guys.
dude,
It's built here in
Blackgate
Austin.
was cool. Blackgate
that
was
was
really
kinda
cool. I wish they had done a sequel to that.
So this is
Why
supposed to
do
be
I
like
think
the 30th. No, we're not 30th anniversary. 25th anniversary of God of War at this point, right?
I have no clue.
God, really?
We're somewhere
that
in there.
can't be right. 20,
Wait a minute.
20.
20th.
2005 sounds
I
right.
can,
Oh,
I can
thank
picture
God.
a scenario where they want to do like a throwback title that has like cleaned up visuals of what it looked like for the PS2 and turn that into a Metroidvania.
Well, that's there. This is clearly, if this exists the way in the form that Brad has described, then it is definitely a throwback title to fill the gap between Ragnarok and whatever comes next, and it's supposed
God
to
of War
appeal
is too-
I don't think
appeal
you
to the
necessarily
people
do
who miss the days of.
I mean, we
Kratos
know we've
and
got
Greece.
it has been long rumored that there's an expansion to Ragnarok somewhere in development, in addition to the next iteration, which is supposedly maybe Egypt.
You can call it a
So-
sequel.
Do we know?
You know what's crazy though? Like,
Do
there's
we-
a lot of Metroidvania elements in modern God of War. There's like puzzle solving, and you get new abilities, and you have access to
Yeah.
like areas. It makes sense.
Mm.
It makes sense.
I
'Cause
mean-
at first I was like, "There's too much like spectacle and like bombast and shit in God of War." It's not. You can. I don't see Kratos like solving a puzzle in a little room, but that's literally all you do in those modern God of War games.
Yeah.
That's all you do. It's a different
Do we think
God of War.
if this game exists, do we think it's going to be a continuation of the story, or do we think it's going to be like a
flashback?
I think it's going to be a throwback to the era of his life that took place.
Although if it's not, how cool would it be?
I mean, right?
No,
they were teasing that they were going to take the story forward in that direction.
One way or the
Shout
other,
out
a side
to
story.
Chains of Olympus and Brotherhood. What was the second PSP one? There was 2 PSP games, both liked, and I think they're both Ready at Dawn, which doesn't exist anymore.
Sad panda.
Rip.
I don't remember.
What was the multiplayer one?
Ghost of Sparta. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
No offense to God of War, but I do feel like we have spent a lot of time talking about this Ghost.
All
God
of a sudden,
War
2.5D, and Nick don't give a shit anymore.
There's
must
so
talk
many
about
things.
fucking Silent Hill DLC or some shit.
Dude,
Go ahead, Nick.
it's Gamer Hanukkah. Come on, let's
Ascension.
I thought that was a big one, but whatever, Nick. Let's hear about Silent Hill
Hanukkah's
DLC.
8 days.
Yes, exactly.
Well, what's going on for the next 8 days?
It's
Summer
E3
Game
time,
Fest,
bro. It's E3 time. Showcase after showcase after showcase.
Crispy doesn't even realize what we're talking about.
I thought E3 was dead.
Also, Switch 2 this week.
I do genuinely think that without the pomp and circumstance of E3, I found it harder to keep feel the hype and the energy until it's like.
That's only because you're at work instead of in LA. I mean, it's still.
That's true. That is, you're right. But man, this is until we sat down here and started talking some of this shit out, I didn't feel I didn't really feel the energy or the excitement. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the state of play tomorrow. What else could be at the state of? Hopefully they're not going to spend a bunch of time talking about the games we already know about. Like they've already done a Death Stranding 2. They've already done a Ghost of Yotai presentation. They don't need to devote any time to that, right?
Oh, they're
Ghost of Yotai. They need to, right?
Oh yeah, they
have not
this
really
fall
shown
they
it
have
to
to
them.
talk about it.
They did Ghost
coming up.
They did an entire presentation on Ghost of Yotai.
Did
they can do more
with Did they do a breakdown of the game? Maybe I didn't watch that.
I don't recall this.
Am I imagining that, or
I think you are,
or maybe they have it scheduled?
There was a trailer, right?
Do you smell toast? Are you okay?
Shut up. Oh yeah. So Jay Hit in chat says Death Stranding 2 has its own presentation on the 8th.
Yeah.
So that's good. Which honestly, because they tend to spend a lot of time talking about that shit, and we're already here for it.
It comes out at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll have a presentation for that on the 8th.
I think that we might see the next round of content for Astrobot.
You think there's gonna be more? You think there's gonna be more content for Astrobot? I feel
100%.
like that's probably not.
Yeah, but that's also super uninteresting. Sorry,
but that's
they've
also
been doing that.
Everyone's game of the year last year,
Yeah, and they've been doing updates. So they've already been doing updates.
Yeah, but I'm like a full-on hours-long expansion. That's what I'm saying.
Well, if they do that, it'll be it'll be this sub minute long trailer that they
It absolutely should not be. It should not be.
I don't know. I have less faith than you do in that.
Okay,
but we'll see.
Okay, so this is Sony. I wonder if they had marathon content lined up for tomorrow, and I wonder if we're still actually gonna see it.
Dude,
Or
I think is it going to be 40 minutes? Is it going to be 40 minutes?
It says 40 minutes.
Is it going to be 35 minutes? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think they do that. I think they just are silent on marathon until after SGF season, and then they do an announcement saying we're pushing it to 25.
26,
you mean?
Or 26, yeah.
I don't think
Nick just wants to talk about James Bond. He just wants to talk about James Bond. Go,
no.
Nick, go.
No,
go.
actually, I want to know, do y'all think we could see, because there's talk about seeing Silent Hill F?
Yeah.
But could that
They
could that
did
be
a
at
showcase
Sony?
for that recently, though.
Not a showcase. I mean, they did a Silent Hill thing, but and we've seen minor updates and stuff, and they've been talking more about it. I mean, you can even pre-order
And
the game at this
supposedly
point.
maybe this year, which seems crazy.
It does, but I feel like if it was going to come out this year, it would have to be either at Sony tomorrow or at the Game Fest thing on Friday. But I don't know. I'm so eager to see that because it's a totally different developer. So I'm not sitting here expecting it to be. I mean, I want it to be. I want it to live up to the quality of the Silent Hill 2 remake, but it's a totally different developer. developed in a totally separate bubble from that developer. So like really there's almost no connective tissue between those two projects. So like I just don't.
Well, the other piece of Silent Hill stuff that's supposed to happen is the Something of the Wish. They're about to announce DLC for that.
Born
for
from a
remake.
Wish.
Born from a Wish.
From a Wish.
Born from a Wish. Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
That's
DLC that's coming. Dust Golem.
Yeah.
Born from Wish for DLC for what? For the remake?
Silent Hill 2.
Yeah,
Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take some DLC for Silent Hill 2 remake.
Also, James Bond.
Do you think that's tomorrow, or do you think that's on Friday?
No, IO Interactive has its own showcase.
I'm just talking about like this.
Okay.
All of Hanukkah.
IO Interactive has
so
their own showcase on Friday, and they're going to be talking about that and the other games that they're publishing.
Well, then,
what do we
let's
want this to look like? What do we expect it to look like?
I think we have
Nick. I'm going to give you some like conditions here, some limits.
I need you to
You're not
shut
allowed
your
to say
whore mouth.
Bloodstone or refer to any existing fucking James Bond.
Okay, then I'm gonna just Uno reverse that on
What
you
about
and say
Nightfire?
you can't sit here and tell me you just want it to be Hitman with James Bond.
Hitman James Bond.
But it's made by the people who made.
I know.
Isn't Hitman James Bond just like a less fun Hitman?
No, Hitman with James Bond is Hitman with sick gadgets.
No, it's not. Not nowadays. It might have been 20 years ago, but it's not.
Yeah, but they're
anymore.
making this is their own thing. They're not using like the likeness from any existing James Bond. It's not going to be one of those tragically it's overrated.
Oh man,
James
what if it's
Bond
like
games.
Cold War era James Bond? What if they really go for it? What if
Okay,
they like
cool.
make
All
James
right.
Bond what it should
Gadgets
be,
when
and
it's
have
cool.
him like going against Russians during the Cold War, and he's got
You
like,
have
a
my
jetpack.
attention, Crispy.
I mean, I would dig that. Look.
I don't care about this.
Here's the only thing I want to say. I know
jetpack?
y'all love Hitman. I know y'all love Hitman so much,
From
and
Russia
I
with
love
love.
James.
Yeah.
I love James Bond so much. I am scared that they're going to turn James Bond into Hitman, and I'm not going to be into it.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Nick. Here's why you're so fucking wrong. That is, Hitman is good. James Bond games are bad. What the fuck do you want this to be? If not like kind of like Hitman, at least.
If they can make the Hitman formula something that gels with me that I enjoy, then sure. But like I've tried to play Hitman like 5 times, and every single time I bounced off it.
You'll get over it if it's James Bond, and you'll just
No, I
finally
won't, dude.
grow up and play it. Look,
I
I'm telling
really
you,
don't think I will.
What is your vision of like? What is your ideal James Bond game?
I don't have a vision. I just
a
don't
driving
want them...
level. You
No,
know, like
listen, motherfucker. I don't have a vision for this. I just know that I'll be disappointed if it turns out that it just looks like a reskin of Hitman with James Bond. That's what I know. I don't want it to be Bloodstone. I don't want it to be
like that. That's insulting, but
like
you're worried that James Bond is going to be able to like spin in place or whatever and look silly.
I'm saying this studio has a formula that they've been relying on very heavily for a long time with one particular franchise. I'm scared they're just going to copy paste that formula.
Okay, first of all, that's insulting to IO Interactive. You know, IO Interactive has done more than just.
But
Hitman.
Brad, switch shoes with me for a second, because we've been in this opposite position once, right? Where it's a series.
My feet would not fit in your tiny shoes.
No,
Nick.
it's a series that I love and adore, and you don't really give 2 shits about, and it's by a studio.
It's a franchise you love.
But
and
you would
adore.
be sitting here saying the same shit if it wasn't IO Interactive. You'd be like, look at what else the studio has done. They're just going to do that again, and it's going to suck. Like, you would be saying that till the cows come home. I'm saying if the roles were reversed, and it was a series that, it was a studio who made a series that I care about, that you don't really like, that was now working on a franchise that you appreciate, you would be telling me to look at all the other games.
But see, the thing is, you don't dislike Hitman. You respect Hitman. You are glad that people enjoy Hitman. You just have not given like a fair shake to Hitman or whatever.
Okay,
or
that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Gotten over the hump.
No, listen. That's bullshit, dude. I've played like 20 to 30 hours of Hitman collectively over the past 12 years or whatever, and it just ends up like, I respect it. I do respect it, but I get so frustrated playing that game that I just can't enjoy it. And and James Bond has been out of the gaming sphere for so long that to see it finally come back, and suddenly there's this chance that I might be kind of like iced out of it because I just don't gel with this studio's style is scary.
You'll be pogging, man. You'll be pogging.
I
hard.
fucking hope I fucking hope that it's great. I just hope that I don't immediately feel Hitman when I see it.
Dude, now I'm hoping that it looks so much like Hitman. Like,
yeah,
even
because
has
you're an
a red
asshole.
tie.
Because you're a fucking
It's just
asshole.
Agent 47 with a toupee. That'd be so fucking funny.
Look,
I think the compromise here is that it is very much like Hitman in terms of infiltration and locations and stuff like that, but it's much better combat. Because let's be clear, Hitman
I'm not
combat
even
has
worried
never
about
been
combat. I'm not worried about combat. I'm worried about just the frustrating nature. For me, it was always about just the endless trial and error and just being sucked out of the experience. For me, I want to be immersed in, like, it's a James Bond thing. I want to be immersed in, like, the world of James Bond. And when I was playing Hitman, I wanted to play and feel like I was immersed in the world of Hitman. And I kept getting sucked out of it because it was just constantly feeling like I fucked everything up.
We're hung up on your little. Here's the thing. Chris Davis, you're fucking wrong. You're wrong because much better combat because I want to be fighting waves of dudes as James Bond. No,
I don't want that.
The thing is, Hitman already is the perfect template for a James Bond game.
It is.
It's already perfect. It just needs the paint job that you appreciate, Nick.
No,
you'll get into it. I'm telling
you. It does not. It, like, God damn it. You're sitting here not listening to the words coming out of my mouth, and you're basically telling me that what I'm feeling is bullshit.
No, all right. You know, I do kind of agree that, like, if you think about a James Bond movie and you think about, like, the really cool parts of those movies, like when James Bond is, like, in it, like, what's going on, it's like driving cars and getting into, like, shootouts and stuff. It's something that's very not Hitman. And I get the logic behind using Hitman as a template for a James Bond game. That is kind of the stuff he should be doing. That is kind of the stuff that, like,
you're talking about like Mission Impossible or something. Like, I feel like the action that James Bond gets into, and even like the modern ones, is like pretty short bursts of action. Mm-hmm. It's still a lot of, like, intrigue and like it's still like
look at GoldenEye. Like, look at GoldenEye, man.
Look,
everything in that movie is like an action set piece. There's, like, maybe a maybe like Casino Royale is more like a Hitman game where, like, you, like, there's
That's true.
a 30-minute scene of them just sitting around playing poker. Like, you know,
like, okay. So, like, there have been Hitman games that have been more, like, cinematic. Remember the run from the helicopter and Hitman Absolution?
The remake,
the stuff
or
that,
the reboot
like,
Hitman?
made me crash out? Maybe that's more what you
That's
want.
what I was thinking.
I didn't like Absolution.
It might
either.
be that game.
You played Absolution?
I played Absolution, and I quit after, like, 3 missions. I couldn't stand it. Like,
I mean, it was
all
rough.
I'm saying is all I'm saying, but I've had that same experience with, like, almost every Hitman game I've ever played. I'm saying I love James Bond. I respect the hell out of IO Interactive. I just know their games, historically speaking, have not been for me. So this is a scary prospect.
Mini Ninjas didn't.
The most exciting thing the most exciting idea I've heard come up has been what Crispy talked about. Like, seeing something totally out of left field, like going, like, Cold War era James Bond, like a time
Freedom Fighters,
like a period
dude.
Piece.
Freedom Fighters, alternate reality.
Freedom Fighters, man.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I don't think
Kane and Lynch.
I'm not saying IO Interactive can't do.
IO, yeah. Yes.
I think IO Interactive is capable of doing something that's not Hitman. I just hope this is one of those games. I'm worried they're just going to...
We're not talking about Remedy. Like, they can make different games. They can make games that are different from one another. But...
Well, I think the thing you have to think about is that IO Interactive, they bought their independence. They have been very careful over the past 5 years to make games within their means. And I think that they can't necessarily divert too far without betting the house on it.
See, that's the shit I don't want to fucking hear.
Crispy, can you hold up that Dutch Bros cup? What the fuck was in that? That is, you should not drink anything that large from Dutch Bros. What the fuck?
It's the nitro cold brew with no cream, no sweetener, no flavor.
That just means there's more caffeine in it.
That's a lot.
I gotta get through this bullshit.
Okay, but
that's so
like
true.
Up for 4 days amount of coffee. Okay,
that's so true.
No, I'll go poop it out after the show. I'll be fine.
All right, we can move on. Look, I'm just a little nervous. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about it next week.
I want to talk about Hitman without you crashing out about having to reload in Hitman, though. Or talk about James Bond without having this part of the conversation again, because I feel like it happens too much.
Then what do
and
you
it's
want
fine
to,
that you don't like Hitman,
about?
but like you are in the vast minority of people, and like if it is Hitman-esque, let us be excited. Let the Hitman fans be a little excited.
I'm not saying you can't be excited. I'm telling you where I'm at.
I know. I just don't want the conversation to be about how many times you have to reload in Hitman. Because
you're the one who brought that up.
I'm not like a huge James Bond like franchise person, but like I like honestly like something that's kind of Hitman but maybe a little bit different is very exciting to me. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
The only concerning thing I have about the IO showcase is that they're showing off their publishing things, and what are they publishing this year? Mind's Eye.
Oh shit! They're publishing Mind's Eye.
Yeah,
I heard that might be like a scam game.
It's
look,
everything I read further about Mind's Eye just makes it so much worse.
Oh,
Can I? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to drag us back into this, but like I feel like I'm being called out in chat now at this point. Like, what the fuck do you expect me to talk about when it's James Bond being developed by IO Interactive? Like, should I just shut my fucking mouth and not talk about it?
No. I'm just saying, if your nightmare comes true, it's going to be a dream for the rest of us. So you got to let us be happy.
Fine.
Before you crash out.
That's fine. But then when I like end up playing it and not liking it, I feel like I'm going to get
I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is like the best opportunity for you to learn how to appreciate something that maybe you didn't in the past.
Promise you, I will play this game.
Yeah.
Whether it looks like Hitman or not. But
that is kind of like why I think everything's going to be okay.
But
because at the end of the day, you're going to play it no matter what.
But
so
I will also
win.
But I have never made it very far into an IO Interactive game before I decided I don't like this and stopped. So
I think we all just want you to enjoy the game, and we're hoping that you are not getting too bogged down by Hitman.
I'm just telling you, we're on the verge of seeing this reveal, and now I'm nervous. That's all I'm saying.
You should be. You should always be nervous, Nick. You should carry your anxiety like a weight around your shoulders. And I'm not even joking. Don't trust corporate entities, Nick. They will lie to you and steal your money.
Is my audio cutting in and out? Somebody said my audio.
It's been happening a little bit every now and then. It's not that bad.
Well, I still don't want it to happen.
I mean, I agree, but we'll work on that after the break.
Just trying to get in your head,
not like
Nick.
constantly.
He's just trying to get in your head.
Yeah. Well, we'll work on it after the break. So I've got the schedule here for Summer Games Fest. So we've got
for gaming Hanukkah.
Sure. Okay. So Summer Games Fest is on Friday. For us, it's going to be at 4:00 Central Time.
Great.
I'd like to try to stream that, so I
will be at work.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I will not be. I'll be home. So, after that, we've got the Devs, followed by the IO Interactive Showcase. Saturday, we've got the Wholesome Direct, Women-Led Games, Latin American Games Showcase, Southeast Asian Games Showcase, Future Games Show, Green Games Showcase, and the Frosty Game Fest, all in one day.
That's a lot. Holy shit. But like, isn't the
just a bunch of indie games?
Isn't the Future Games Showcase? Isn't that like always like 4 hours long or some bullshit?
3 or 4 hours, yeah.
Jesus
it's
Christ.
all exhausting. They just all jump on this week to show off indie games, and that's fine. It's whatever, man. Whatever.
I hate to say it, but I never watch those shows on that day live because they're always just
we know.
Yeah,
that's why we have trailer talk. You know, that's why we have trailer talk.
Yeah,
I catch the highlights.
And then on Sunday, we've got a combination of the Xbox Showcase and the Outer Worlds 2 Direct.
I will be here to.
Outer Worlds 2 Direct.
That's a question I have.
It's weird. Like they don't have much if that's what they're. Because for the past recent years, they've been following with like a showcase, like a game specific showcase, like Starfield or whatever. I feel like Outer Worlds 2 doesn't really pop in the same way, but whatever.
Well, also, like, I'm wondering, like, do they have necessarily a lot to show or give us any information? Because, like, they just came out with Avowed. Like, is Obsidian big enough to handle those two projects simultaneously?
Yes, 1,000% yes. They've been coming out with games constantly over the years. Of course, they have. It's not the same team.
Well, what was
they announced Outer Worlds 2 before we even saw like anything but that very first teaser of Avowed. Like in that same year, they announced Outer Worlds 2.
My question is, what did they release between Avowed and the original Outer Worlds?
They've already like a ton of shit.
They did.
Dude.
They did Pentiment. I remember that.
They did Pentiment. They did the fucking Grounded. Remember Grounded?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They did multiple Pillars of Eternity games.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Dude, that team is.
I forgot about
They're very prolific.
Yeah.
That studio.
But it is like they have shown a bunch of Outer Worlds too at this point. I think.
Yeah.
Grounded, the Outer Worlds.
I mean, I will say this: I'm not currently at my hype level for Outer Worlds 2 is pretty low at this point.
Oh hell yeah, brother!
So
I'm more curious about the In Exile game. I hope that ends up being
Clockwork
good.
Revolution.
Yeah, hopefully that's good.
I don't think we're going to see that until next year. Like that was announced like 3 years ago, and they said that's coming when it's done.
You know, usually I'm pretty excited for the Xbox showcase because the past few years they've been kind of popping off, but like Microsoft's been having so many problems and like laying off so many people and like I'm just like I know, but like
did you hear about the thing that happened
Dark?
today?
I mean, like Perfect Dark and Fable are two prime examples. Like Perfect Dark is probably like 4 years away at this point.
Oh no, that's probably next year. I think.
You think Perfect Dark is next year?
I think if it was 4 years away, it would have been canceled.
Yeah, it's next year.
And Fable is that game that we've been waiting to see like a detailed look at for ages.
That'll be like early next year though.
We got a trailer last year. I finally got a trailer for Fable last year. This year has to be the year they actually like do a deep dive on Fable. But if that was the case, I feel like that would be the game they'd be like focusing on after the like instead of Outer Worlds.
Like
2.
it probably could be like a dedicated fall or January direct. I think.
Bethesda.
Yeah, it's.
Remember, this is Fable. I mean, sorry, this is Outer Worlds is Fallout in space. Okay, like Outer Worlds sold a lot. It's a big deal for them.
I know. I'm not saying it's not deserving of it. I'm just saying on a personal level, like it's not like lighting. It's not like lighting a fire under me. But whatever, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll eat my words on Sunday.
Yeah. Other rumors that have been going around. There's maybe a teaser for Final Fantasy VII Part 3. There are
I don't even know if I care at this point.
There's some light rumors about a modern update to the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy happening.
Shut the front door.
Persona 4 Remake has all been but confirmed.
Yeah.
Wait, which one?
Persona 4 Remake.
Oh yeah.
Probably gonna hear about.
What about
What
Final Fantasy 9 remake?
Splinter Cell Remake.
Splinter Cell Remake. Yeah, they're teasing that.
Also,
Tomb Raider reboot.
Worth noting, this is the first year in a long time, maybe that I can remember ever, where Ubisoft didn't do an event.
That's right. I'm seeing that now.
Ubisoft is doing they said they're going to be at these other presentations, but like they are not doing their own dedicated event. Which, you know what, that if they don't have anything of consequence or whatever,
Switch.
that's
It's a
fine.
Switch launch year though. No Red Steel 3?
Wasn't there some shit going on with
Zombie U2? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Getting
there's
acquired or like...
Yeah,
there is a lot of shit going on with Ubisoft right now, which I guarantee you is playing a role in the fact that they're not doing a presentation this year.
Yeah.
What about 2K stuff like BioShock 4 or Small Axe?
BioShock 4, I think we don't hear about until next year. We might get a little bit on Judas.
Why? Why do you say that?
Can I just
I
say?
think they want to prioritize Judas first.
Can I just say, I might have some information about that. Ask me about that later.
Judas?
Okay, well, is he right or wrong?
I'm not saying.
Okay.
You have it on hand from sources that you cannot disclose?
Potentially I have, but
Okay.
I'm not saying anything on this about it on the stream.
Okay.
What's Joseph Gordon-Levitt up to? Someone in chat, King Carey asks.
Yeah.
Beyond Good and Evil 2 is dead, right? Like that's.
It was never alive, homie.
It was
never alive.
It was.
It looked pretty cool to me.
It was all CG. We might hear about that Prince of Persia project again. I think it's about time for them to start talking about it
Wait, which
again.
one? The Sands of Time remake? Or
Yeah, the Sands of Time remake.
Yeah,
the one that
we're going to hear about all
basically-
kinds of stuff. Anything spicy is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Look, I feel like we've officially entered the territory of like anything beyond this is like officially grasping at straws.
Will we see Castlevania?
No,
Wouldn't that be cool?
no.
I
Wouldn't
want to
it
see
be
something
cool?
Castlevania
Wait, is there a
related.
Castlevania that exists that we're
No.
expecting to see, or are you just saying?
It-
maybe a
no,
new
so Castlevania has been like rumored on the wind for like the past couple of years. Something Castlevania related.
Yeah. It's just,
You know,
but the way they've been handling like Contra and other projects, like you got to kind of worry a little bit. Like,
no, that's not necessarily true, bro. Konami's turning it around. First of all, their collections have been like solid, and their recent efforts have been, you know, hopeful, positive.
By relying on outside studios to work on their franchise.
Yeah. Well, of course, they're
But,
all
yeah.
outside studios. They're in the publishing game now too. Of like, I'm sorry, they're a publisher, but they've been publishing random indie games and stuff.
I'm
too.
going to be talking
There's,
about a
like,
Konami published game tonight. So
that too, and they got that Octopus one coming out too. You know, it's
Octopus.
It's a weird company these days, but we're hopeful. Silent Hill remake 2 was a win, man.
It was a win, but I don't know if they can.
You know,
I don't know if like
Silent Hill
like
F looks cool.
the Silent Hill 2 remake was such a win, but like there's no singular connective tissue between all of those projects. Like they can't all be Silent Hill 2 remake good. Maybe they can.
Delta
like,
Snake
I
Eater,
gotta-
though.
Yeah, what about Snake Eater?
Snake
gonna,
Eater.
What about that Suikoden game that looks
That's gonna
cool
be
even though it's mobile?
That's gonna be fucking good.
I didn't want to
I'm
do
just
that to
saying,
you, Brad.
Konami's doing something, man.
Where's
Yeah.
Silent Hill Townfall?
At least they're alive.
I mean,
That is true.
Man, this man's drowning in Silent Hill games and he still wants this other one. Come on, man.
I mean, I
give
just
him a
want to know
second.
more about it.
Yeah.
Have a bit of
that's all.
humility.
Like I'm secretly,
I just got through playing this dream game remake.
It
and
was
now
a
there's this
dream game.
brand new one that look game Silent Hill F is coming and it looks amazing.
Look,
But
if
what's
Silent
this
Hill
other
F,
one about?
listen, if Silent Hill F comes out and it's a stinker, I won't even care because I got the Silent Hill 2 remake. Like I will be fine.
You should
That's all I'm
still
saying.
care.
I mean, I care, but like I'm also already just used to being burned when it comes to Konami and Silent Hill. So like, you know,
Yeah.
you know.
Let's move on. I think we're, Tomb Raider might be there. I'm always gonna be eyes open.
Did you see?
for Tomb Raider?
Did you see? So like, Amazon's making the TV show, the Tomb Raider TV show.
No,
Did
I
you
don't
see
know. I don't know what
the
that is. I don't care.
what? No. Oh God, what's her name from Game of Thrones? Someone help me out. Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones. She's Lara Croft. She posted a
Really?
photo, like a selfie. She's fucking jacked.
Oh wow! At least
Yeah.
someone can hit the gym, unlike Abby.
I mean, she doesn't look like a tank necessarily, but she's got like a six pack. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
More like flabby, am I right?
Jesus fucking Christ, Brad.
Sorry.
That's
I mean,
right.
I'm just saying.
Someone take Brad's microphone away. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come
Her
back, we're just gonna talk.
defining
We're
features
gonna-
were her ridiculous arms. Come on.
When we come back, we're just gonna talk about the games we've been playing, including a game which I'm not gonna lie, Brad, I can't remember the name of because it's very long and weird. What's it called? The game that you're gonna talk about?
Long and weird. Okay?
Something
It's
about a
Italian
yo-yo?
for bat. Italian
about a-
for bat.
Okay, that still doesn't answer the
Italian
question.
for Bat and the Cursed YoYo.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, Winged. Yeah, Sophie Turner is the name I was trying to think of. Appreciate it. And then Chris Davis has got a couple games, including
It's like if they
Deliver
did
at
a
All
live
Costs?
action Shrek and he wasn't even green. It doesn't make sense.
What if it was just what if it was a live action Shrek and they just got Mike Myers to like it was just Mike Myers, like that was it.
Yeah, you can't.
They're
You gotta let 'em
Anyway.
why does Shrek have to be green? Like, think
He's
about
an
that for a
ogre,
second.
bro. He's an
Yeah.
ogre. All right.
You know,
Guys-
there's a certain population of people out there that are colorblind, right?
She's cut.
All right, cut the tape.
All right. We'll be back in a second, guys. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Brad, you were saying something about furries or something during the break? Does that
yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Is that a good segue into your game?
So,
I don't know.
We were talking a little bit about Mina the Hollower before the break. Chris Davis's unhinged opinion, whatever. Mina the Hollower, Shovel Knight, whatever. Mina the Hollower is the upcoming throwback. It's like a top-down Zelda, but with sick-ass movement. You've seen Mina the Hollower. It looks incredible. It's the follow-up to Shovel Knight from the creators of Shovel Knight, and it's going to be
in a Game Boy color art style. Yeah, it's great.
Yes. Well, I've been playing Pipistrello in the Cursed YoYo. Pipistrello is no mouse, but he is a mouse with wings, aka in a bat. I've been calling this game Mina at Home because it is like it's a game that just looks a lot like Mina the Hollower, but they beat Mina the Hollower, so what are you gonna do?
They beat Mina the Hollower to like release? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So this game has been on my radar for a little while. I've been eyeing it. I actually picked this up in my Fantasy Critic Discord Super League. It's on my roster because I saw a trailer for this sometime last year, and I was like, "Yo, that's sick." And I saw more trailers, and I was like, "Yo, Mina
that's
at Home,"
still
but
sick.
like maybe actually even better. And so it's come out, and I have played like over 20 hours of this game, and it came out last week. But I mean, granted, my family had COVID, and I've just been like in a room doing nothing. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of games. I guess I usually don't play that many games in a week, I suppose. But it'd be like that sometimes.
It'd be like that.
So this is a isometric Zelda type game. You play as a bat. He has a yo-yo. But the thing about, and it is a lot like Mina the Hollower. And when I say it's a lot like Mina the Hollower, it is also like, I think very like movement, like driven. Like you have a lot of, so you have a yo-yo, and all your abilities and movement abilities and exploration abilities, combat abilities are all tied to your yo-yo. So you're like, one of the ways you get around is like doing the walk the dog movement, and you can actually like go over like water and like ass. Yeah, you can go over what the fuck am I trying to say? Liquids
Words
that are on the ground, puddles and stuff, while riding your yo-yo. And if you stop riding your yo-yo, you'll sink and you'll fall out like you would in an old school Zelda game, right? And
I'm trying to figure out how you ride a yo-yo.
yeah, well, it's a fucking cartoon bat. What do you want from me, dude? You ride the yo-yo, you walk the dog. Look at the fucking footage. I'm doing it a bunch. It's an isometric Zelda game. It's also channeling like the Game Boy Advance, so much so that you could even like zoom all the way out and you're playing the game on like a 3D model of a handheld, and like the buttons are moving and the sticks are moving like you would. It's actually a really cool feature, which I don't show in this footage, but I am just showing the game. The unique twist, I think, on Pipistrello and the Cursed YoYo, outside of the fact that, you're a bat with a cool yo-yo that does cool yo-yo abilities, and it's a Zelda game that takes place entirely in a single city, and it's a really unique setting for this type of game, because like the dungeons are just like the first dungeon is just the mall. But it is just a Zelda dungeon, but it's just a cool, unique setting for, a Zelda-like game. Usually they're just out in like the woods and stuff, and they're like rivers and streams and caves. But here, the caves where you go in to like do a puzzle is just like someone's house. Like the houses you come across that you just walk into, little tiny shops, they're just like little one-off puzzles where you can get like the equivalent of like a heart piece or something, which again, super cool. You're constantly like in the streets, like dodging traffic, and traffic will actually do a lot of like damage to you. So you have to like get out the fucking way. They're not just there. They're just as much of an enemy as anything else, right? They're like an obstacle that is trying to kill you because you're walking in the street, right? It's just a really cool setting for this type of game. I don't know. Should I spoil the dungeons? I'm going to spoil the dungeons. I want people to play this game.
Can you spoil like one dungeon and not all of them?
No, I'm going to spoil a couple. Listen, here's the thing. Here's what I need to convey right now. This game is fucking amazing, and I'm probably almost done with it. I've been playing for more than 20 hours, but like they cooked with this one. I've been calling this Mina at home, but no, this is a really cool, good ass video game. One of the reasons it's cool is because of that setting. Do I spoil the dungeons? So like I got to one portion of like the city, which was one portion of the city, and there was like an outdoor music festival going on, right? And like the entire part of that city, there was like big long lines of people lined up for this music festival, and like sort of like the bigger puzzle of navigating that part of the city was like going down into the sewers and popping back up to try to get around this line of people. And eventually you get access to the dungeon, and the dungeon in that part of the city is like a music festival, like fucking ACL. And it's just cool. It's because it takes place in the city. There's like really unique dungeon designs. I'm in a dungeon now. Yeah. I'm in a dungeon now that is a sports stadium. And everything from the enemy designs to like is like themed around the idea of, I'm in a stadium and that is my Zelda dungeon. And you're in those, for the amount of time that you would be in a Zelda dungeon. Like it's like a really cool setting for this style of game. What?
Sorry,
you cut out for like 3 seconds.
Cut out for a second.
Yeah, it's just a really, really cool setting for this type of game. But like, so like the setting is a strength. The other part is that, like I said, these movement abilities, like you have like really cool abilities and like to get around where you're like bouncing off walls and then switching to like walk the dog to go over like some water and then bouncing off of that over a pit. And, stringing these cool yo-yo abilities together it's like, I've never seen platforming this good in a isometric Zelda type game. Like you just don't see good platforming in these games, like the kinds of Zelda game that it's evoking are like the like the Game Boy Color Zelda games, right? Like Ages and Seasons, right? And
right.
In those games, those come from like the Game Boy era where you get the Rock's Feather and now you can jump a little bit. Here, you're doing like crazy. Like I'm trying to think of a game that has like crazy movement tech, but for them pulling off crazy like movement tech platforming in this game and like really challenging stuff like that's the other part of it, right? The platforming is awesome. The puzzles are awesome. The combat's awesome. And it's all like just hard enough. This feels like a very like well-tuned game that's kind of pushing you in all aspects. All aspects feel well-designed. Like the level design's really great. The dungeon design's great. The puzzle design's great. Again, this movement tech and the combat is just challenging and like good and creative enough that like it's really pushing the player. Like this game can be really difficult at times. And this is all backed around this this system of you go into debt buying upgrades from the upgrade tree. Like the whole thing is like you're part of the Pipistrello family and your aunt like runs the city and all the people who like work for her are like trying to kill her now, and you're trying to like stop them even though you're kind of like you're just a fucking rich kid who wants to become the world's greatest yo-yoer, but now you're actually trying to save the city and your aunt has been turned into a bat. And a lot of it's kind of like, like it's like money, like debt. It makes sense that you go into debt in the upgrade tree is what I'm trying to say. It's like a pretty unique story as well, even though it's kind of absurd. Anyways, do you remember from A Link Between Worlds how you can like borrow items?
You can rent them?
You can rent items, right?
Yeah.
But like ultimately, and if you died, you had to return.
I feel like
them,
we didn't like that system though.
Well, because the game was too easy.
It was,
right?
It was too easy for that.
There was no tension to borrowing an item because you weren't gonna fucking die anyways because it was too easy. I remember I never died once in A Link Between Worlds. A brilliant game that had a single flaw of being way too easy. This game sort of takes that idea. It's probably inspired by that, where if like all of your upgrades in the upgrade tree, you have to they won't give them to you. You can't buy them. You literally have to go into debt to obtain them. So, and the way you go into debt, like you literally, you until you pay off your debt, you don't get the upgrade. But while you are in debt, you take like a hit to like some stat. They're like, you owe $1,000 on this. And until you pay it off, you're going to have like -2 hit points and like -2 attack power. So good luck, motherfucker. And until then, every time you get money, you like half of it goes into your pocket and half of it goes to like paying off this debt for that.
Oh, like real life.
It's a pretty cool system because every time you die,
they garnish your wages.
Every time you die, you lose, you like kind of like Shovel Knight where you're like losing a little bit of cash, but you're never losing the cash that they're garnishing, right? So you could die over and over again losing money, but it's okay because every time you earn money, half of it is going to that debt that you're not, funny enough, right? The debt doesn't go away. I mean, the payments that you made to the bank don't go away. Those stick. But it's like a pretty clever way of doing it because this is a very like open-ended like Zelda type game. You could take the dungeons and like maybe the order you want and like get upgrades as you're exploring and trying to get 100% because the game is pushing you enough. You really want to get the upgrades, right? It's like, oh, this is pretty difficult. I really want to be able to like equip more of these badges, like Hollow Knight style badges. I want to get more like these health upgrades and stuff because it can be kind of difficult. But then when you have to go into like stat debt to like before you pay off these upgrades that you're buying, it's like a pretty clever, it's an effective way of what they were trying to accomplish in A Link Between Worlds, I think, where you're like, this really kind of fucks me, but I really want this upgrade. But for the next like hour or so until I pay this off, things are going to kind of fucking suck. And it's going to get hard and it's going to get annoying. But like, what's cool about that is like, they managed to make the game like this happens in like Metroid games. It happens in Zelda games where eventually you just start steamrolling the thing. You've gotten too many upgrades. You've gotten too powerful that everything is like, trash mobs. I mean, you're just really you get really powerful in those games. You start to feel like a god, right? Like this game, no matter how many of those upgrades and stuff you find, because you're always trying to pay off an upgrade, you're always in debt. They're always finding a new way to fuck over your stats. And the further you go down the upgrade tree, the harsher the penalties are until you pay off an upgrade. So I'm really far in the game, but because I have like half my attack damage that I normally would, I have to, I'm going to be pretty weak for a little while. And it's nice to feel that way, even like towards the end of the game. Like, it's clever, right? Because you'll get to a boss fight, right? And you'll be like, oh man, the boss fights can be hard. And it's like, I have paid off this much of my debt, right? And like, I'm almost done paying it off, but I really need to fight this boss. Do I go out into the world and try to like pay it off by doing things and like earning money and exploring before I fight this boss? Or do I fight this boss while I'm nerfed because I'm in debt? Because at the end of the boss fight, you can hit the boss a bunch and get a lot of money at the end of the fight. But that money is only going to apply to an upgrade if you go into the boss fight while you're currently in debt. Otherwise, all that money is just going into your pocket and they won't let you buy an upgrade with that money. Does that make any sense? Like you can't pay for an upgrade unless they're garnishing your wages, and they're only garnishing your wages if you've taken like a big debuff to like one of your stats. So like I've been in boss fights where like this would be a lot easier if I just because you can say, you know what, fuck that, I'm not buying that upgrade anymore, just give me all my money back, I got to go fight this boss because I need to be stronger now. But if you do that, all the money you spent towards that upgrade, you have to start over, and which means all the money you're going to get at the end of the boss fight can't apply towards that. It's like a really clever way to like force you into these situations where you're fighting bosses that you're probably not strong enough to beat, but if you just do it enough times, then I'm going to get this sweet fucking
I feel like
upgrade.
This game is trying
clever.
To teach you some actual real life lessons here.
Well, I mean, the story is kind
time.
of all about that shit too. It's like weirdly a lot about like, is your aunt like maybe a bad person? But like, the whole system's kind of fucked. All these
Is she
people are
rich?
bad. They're yeah. The Pipistrello family is running this series, and you're just like the nephew who's really into yo-yos. But like, also everybody's bad, and I think maybe what they're trying to say is that like when you're at this level, everyone's terrible. I don't know.
You
I'm
can't
not done with the
accumulate
story.
this much wealth and still be a moral person.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's all this to say, this is like an incredibly polished, like a complete, like they nailed every aspect of this game. This is, if you like old school Zelda games or Metroidvanias, I think this is a must play. Like everything about it is like top tier. Like it is one of the better games out there.
We do like all of those things here.
It'll be a crime if this thing goes ignored, and it is kind of going ignored. But like, I've been so impressed with this game. I went into like the Yacht Club Discord, into the Mina the Hollower channel, and I'm like, y'all, I know y'all are excited for Mina the Hollower, and I know it's gonna sell millions or whatever, just like Shovel Knight. Y'all need to check out this Mina at home game, because you can't say that you're excited for Mina the Hollower and then look at this and not be like, okay, this looks cool. And what I was happy to see is that a lot of these Mina fans that are in the Yacht Club Discord every day were like, yo, that does look sick. And people, they have been picking it up and being like, yo, this shit slaps. So I don't know. It's
Brad's
the kind of game where I would
here.
love to see Yacht Club be on social media, be like helping pimp this game, because it's obviously very Mina adjacent. I don't know. It's good. It's really fucking good. And, you know,
Sweet.
I think some people in our community I've convinced them to pick it up. I know Carlos streamed some of it too. So people have seen how cool this game can be. And
Did you happen to get this on Steam?
Yes.
I did.
Fuck
Good.
yes.
Good man.
But I've been playing a lot of it. But the thing is, I'll be done pretty soon. So I highly recommend a great Steam Deck game. Also, like
Sweet.
if you're about to pick up like a Switch 2, it's also on Switch. Maybe
okay.
like I think, you know, you when you get a new like system like that, you're kind of looking for like excuses to play it. And this is the perfect game to like download on your Switch 2 when you're done with Mario Kart.
It might be nice for me to have a game to play on my Switch 2 at launch. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Anyways, Pipistrello. Just because it's foreign doesn't mean it's weird, Nick.
Now you're just saying I'm like anti-foreign? Like, is that what you're
Something.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the natural evolution.
Oh,
Anti-Italian.
God, it just keeps getting worse. Okay. All right, Chris Davis, I'm
Hi.
handing it over to you. You got a couple games you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know where you want to start.
We'll do the smaller thing, the more fun thing, I think, first.
The more fun thing. Okay.
I'm almost done with Deliver at All Costs.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
This is a Konami published little, not indie game, but kind of indie game.
How can you be kind of indie?
Oh, I don't know the exact I don't know who this developer is, but it feels like they're
It's published.
an indie that got a publishing deal. Yeah. And
they've been doing this for the past couple of years, actually. It's a little weird.
They're slowly, surely getting little weird titles and publishing them, and
I mean, that's their strategy. This is how they're working their way back into the good graces of.
It's weird. Someone convinced someone high up at Konami that this is something they should be doing. I don't know if it's working. I don't know if this thing sold all that well, but I kind of like it.
This game is really fun. The basic premise is simple. It's a period piece where you are a delivery driver and you go do odd jobs around town, taking things from point A to point B. The catch with it is that beyond it just being like mainly comedic, what you're doing, everything apart from the terrain is destructible. Like it is remarkable how much you could just destroy by just driving your truck through it.
Just like real life.
I mean, yeah, but it's like this is a game about having the potential to be a sociopath with an unstoppable vehicle, in the funniest way possible. The amount of different little quests that you get to go on, like this one right here, I've asked by the mayor to replace the statue of the town's founder from like the 1600s. Take it up to the volcano to be tossed in there, and then drive it back with a replacement of the current mayor in this gold statue.
Is that what's dragging behind your truck?
Yeah, I'm dragging behind slowly the disintegrating remains of this old statue.
Okay,
which
at least
is
it's the old one.
Yeah. And it's
Not the new
procedurally
ones.
breaking as I'm just hitting terrain and cars and buildings and things like that. And this is like the most tame mission in the game. Like there are some missions where you are just there's a mission where you're basically there's a giant ball that you're pulling behind you as you go through a neighborhood, and it is destroying everything because it's all physics.
It's a wrecking ball. You're dragging
It's
a wrecking ball.
And so you're smashing into everything, and you've got this happy-go-lucky late 50s music playing, and this lady who's with you complaining about the neighbors and all that. And you look behind your truck, and you see this 10 foot diameter ball just smashing into cars and destroying homes, and it's hilarious. And they really kind of lean into the comedy. Like the second half of this mission, you have to get the statue back from the new statue back from the volcano to the town hall. But there's a gang of seagulls that are just adamant about fucking shitting all over it and destroying it. So as you're like taking it back, like they are dive bombing, and it's like something out of like a World War II video game. Like just they're coming
So
down.
you're trying to avoid
carpet bombing.
them?
Oh yeah, hell yeah! You don't want to get it too covered in bird shit. It is so fucking funny. I am smiling constantly as I'm playing this, and at the same time, like there's this kind of mystery going around about the main character. Like he's not actually who he says he is. And there's a mystery that's slowly evolving, but it also feels like kind of. You remember that 90s film Falling Down with what's his name?
Yep.
I
Yeah.
do not.
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, yeah. Where he's just trying to get home and he's having the worst possible day every single step, every scene he goes. Like that's kind of this game where the protagonist's life is slowly falling apart, and it's just him kind of dealing with it. And every now and then there's this level in which there's narration from like sometime in the future by this forensic pathologist or psychologist who is just diagnosing like what happened this certain day for this character. And it's read so straight, but it is so entertaining. Like what's
It's
happening.
just trying to get it's trying to get you to enjoy someone else's misery. Is that
100%. 100%.
What is going on with this game? I thought this was like a Steam Next Fest darling or something, but like this game,
I don't recall.
I
whether
don't
it
think
had a Steam
Konami's going to
Next
be.
Fest.
I don't think Konami's going to be publishing indies for very long. There's 33 people playing this on Steam right now.
Yeah, like it.
What the fuck?
It didn't come out like the best time. I don't think it.
I mean,
Is it a
what
bad
indie-
time right now?
I don't think it ever.
what indie game comes out at a good time these days? Unless you're like Mina the Hollower.
Unless you're setting
I
the
mean,
world
yeah.
on fire with indie games these days.
Pipistrello has 125 people playing. Both of these seem like probably not successful. I hate this.
Yeah.
The world,
I hate
you mean
this.
the state of the industry? Yeah.
How do you decide you're going to make it? Okay. It looks very fun. And I thought that like there was a demo for this and people were kind of like excited a little bit about this because it seems silly. But
Was there not a demo?
I don't know. I guess people just
during-
want to play fucking Fortnite. There was. I played the demo. I thought it was like people were kind of like, yo,
Like
this looks cool.
from the first moment of the game in which you get into a car, like it's so many jokes thrown throughout that you're kind of riding with and having so much fun with. And there's also multiple maps in the game. The only real complaint I have so far, and I think I'm like over the hump. I'm over 2/3 of the way through it. I'm on the third map at this point, and the basic big plot things have started to really hit, which kind of makes the story a little bit more compelling. But outside of like the main missions, there really isn't that much to do. Like, you can go driving around town like a psychopath, and eventually the cops will start coming after you, but all you have to do is go hide in a dumpster, which you can't spit for hitting one, and they'll go away, and you can get back to your mayhem.
GTA, this is not.
It is not GTA. But there's like
GTA
maybe
decided
one
to
or
delay when they saw this game coming.
there's like one or two side missions max per map, and I feel like that's a gross misuse of the potential of this physics engine of like
So
everything
how long
they can
have
do
you
with
been playing it so far? You say you're about 2/3 of the way through it. Like how
I'm close to 10 hours. Like it's not a long game. And this also feels like a developer that made the game as best they could, but clearly there's just some spots that people are going to bitch about on face value. But if you think about it, it's actually kind of an accomplishment. Like everything in this game, apart from like one cinematic, is not pre-rendered. It's fully in engine. And so when you go into a building like the We Deliver, and you go into a cinematic, like everything is in engine and it's to the scale of the models zoomed in. And they don't look good on face value. But when you realize that it's in engine and we're just zooming in on the models, that's actually kind of cool. You know? So
I mean, people are judgmental. I don't know.
They're finicky, judgmental bastards. Yeah,
They're not judgmental. They're not even playing.
That's also true.
That is true.
But
Did y'all see that? Sorry, because you were talking about it's like you're 10 hours, so it's not a super long game. Did y'all see the quote from the developers of Clair Obscur? And they were like, "More games are too long these days. They should be short, like Clair Obscur." And I was like,
See, I played that game for a long time.
That's an
I was like,
80-hour
short,
game to
like-
me.
I was like, motherfucker. I was like, 60 hours is nothing to scoff at. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's
Although,
not short.
Maybe we'll save it for later, but I've also finished Act 3. Maybe I'll say, I don't know. We need to do a spoiler cast or something.
I
But
would
I
love
was
to do a spoiler
really-
cast.
Not happy with the way they handled the final boss. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about because y'all
Yeah,
experienced
I do.
it too.
I do.
I did finish it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it
we'll
is
talk.
really annoying, and I think they should have They should have handled it differently. I really think they should have handled it differently. But whatever, I don't know.
Maybe we'll find a way to talk about that later.
4-player minute or something. If you remind me, I'll go into more detail.
If I remind you, okay. Well,
Yeah, but this
Sounds good.
this Deliver at All Costs is really fun. I
It
think
was
it's
free on the Epic Game Store.
It was free on the Epic Game Store. It's
Not anymore.
$30 on Steam. I think that's a little overpriced. I think it should be 25
that
or
might
20.
be part of the problem.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing.
That's a big ask.
I mean, the problem is no one knows this game exists if 33 people are playing.
I mean, the problem is oversaturation combined with maybe not the right price point. So
Everyone's playing deck builders and shit. I don't know what's going on. They're all playing Fortnite and
You're part of the problem.
what are you talking about?
Damn,
You
shots fired.
just said everyone's playing deck builders. Bitch, you were talking about Monster Hunter 2 last week. Or sorry, Monster Train 2.
Yeah, and then I still bought this game. I still bought Pipistrello. I bought it. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying you're part of the problem.
I played
Brad, as
like,
long as, as long
That's
as
not-
you're
I'm
talking
not the
about deck
problem.
builders. What's up, Crispy?
I was just saying, you reminded me. I forgot to mention it earlier, but I played a bunch of Monster Train since last week.
Yeah.
Crispy's
Me
part
too,
of the problem.
Me too. I've put in
And
a lot of time. It's very addictive.
I was a hater, but like it's pretty good.
You were a hater? What are you hating on Monster Train for?
I wasn't hating on it, but I was very like, like it just looked lame. But it's not lame. I mean, it's not lame. Wait, we talked about it. We did talk about
We talked about it
this.
last week.
We did talk about it last week.
It's not lame. It's sick. I didn't know if it was good, and then I played it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the sauce.
Well, there's thousands of people playing Monster Train too, so they don't have to worry about that one.
Well, anyway, like, give this game a shot. Give it like an hour or so. Like, if the first joke of driving around doesn't hit you, I don't think anything in this game will.
I
But
played the demo. I was actually a little
Is the
annoyed
demo
that my
still
car kept
available?
breaking down. I don't know.
That's the question.
Maybe.
Wait,
Because $30 is not. Is the demo still available?
Maybe.
Probably
you
not.
You don't spend $30 to maybe play a game for an hour and hope it grabs you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's also on our Steam family, so you can play it.
Well, that's us. These fools listening to us, they don't get access to that. But
they could have got it when it was free on Epic. So
we could try it. Anyways,
it'll also go on sale really soon, I bet. So
yeah, for sure.
Can I say
you
that
also? God damn it! Go ahead.
Pipistrello and the Cursed YoYo is at 88 on OpenCritic right now.
Good for it.
That wasn't on anybody's list here, right?
With 24 reviews. Well, on my list. And
I'm not asking about your Super League, the league that you're cheating.
But the thing is, my list has been full for quite a while, so I just have to kind of be quiet about games that I don't want y'all to pick up in our league, because so many of you are refusing to bid on games that I don't want to give y'all any dubs, so I just can't talk about sick games.
Brad, I'm fucked. I have no way to challenge you because of GTA. Throw me a bone. Throw me one bone.
I'm worried about Crispy and Ed and the three people who have not bid on a single fucking game, and that we're halfway through this year.
Sorry, dude. My brain has been elsewhere lately. Dude, I'm gonna super drop my game this week. I don't know what to tell you.
You're on a video game podcast. You literally, what are you talking about?
The last 2 weeks,
all kinds of video games.
The last 2 weeks, I've actually been meaning to bid on something, and I keep having the thought just happens to be on Thursday, and then I'm at work, and then it slips my mind, and then all of a sudden I get the notification Thursday evening saying that bids have closed, and I was like, "Fuck! I forgot to do it again."
It is Gamer Hanukkah. If there are no bids this week, I will crash out. I will.
Let's do it.
You've given us a goal.
There was even a week like I was yelling at Carlos that week that we picked up Donkey Kong. He didn't even bid on Donkey Kong, and he had all the money. I got so mad. I won Donkey Kong, and I was still pissed at him because, like, you're not even paying attention during like the Switch 2 reveal where we found out about Donkey Kong. Like, fuck off, dude. I'm just like, and I bid on Donkey Kong. I talked a little bit about it last week, and I am glad that I have some competition finally this year.
You know, I bid on Donkey Kong, right?
Is scary. I know everybody did, but Carlos. I know, but literally, that's the only game that y'all have even tried to get this year, and it is June.
Sorry, man. I'll get there. In fact, I have to, because I have to super drop my game this month. So
don't super drop your game, because you're not going to replace it with anything. You're just going to have 7 empty spots.
Maybe. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Hey, Chris Davis, we
also got to pick up counter. No, listen to me, fucko. It's not just bidding on games. People got to pick up counter picks as well.
I know, Brad.
You get a minus 15 if you don't fill your counter picks.
I am aware of this, Brad. I'm aware. Thank you.
Okay. Is Carlos and Nolan aware? And Ed? Oh, I know Ed's been bidding.
I think
Nolan's busy.
Distracted. Yeah. He's got a
Ed's fucking distracted too, but he's still paying attention.
That is true. Touche. They both have new children.
Hard. It's not that hard.
I've been playing
They're
another
both
game.
New parents, though. They're not.
I have 2 children. We're on a podcast about video games. I'm literally showing you video game trailers every week. How do you not go? No. I've been there. It is crazy. You're right. And I spend most of my day thinking about and taking care of my stupid family. But listen to me, you motherfucker. We do trailer talk every week. All you have to do is go, oh, this looks cool. Instead of wish list it, just go over to fucking Fantasy Critic and fucking bid on it or something. Please.
Here's the thing. I'm constantly questioning myself in terms of, I feel like I'm making the wrong call.
Okay, whatever. I showed a trailer for Pipistrello in the Cursed YoYo 3 months ago, and now it's an 88 on OpenCritic. That's all I'm saying.
Touché.
And you know what I said when I watched that trailer? Yo, this looks fucking cool.
Chris Davis.
Yes.
You played the demo for Hell Is Us.
I also played that.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, this looks pretty good.
Apparently has been popping off a little bit, right?
Yeah, the demo is on Steam right now from the 2nd through the 16th, so you can download and play it right now. This is kind of cool. There's some mechanics that I haven't seen in a while in a Souls game coming back here, and I'm liking it. So, this is a sci-fi Soulsian experience. The demo is an hour long. It's just a tutorial dungeon. It gives you a taste of like character interaction and exploring some of the open environments and stuff like that. It is kind of cool.
Is it horror-esque? Like this, like it looks a little spooky.
It's spooky. I wouldn't necessarily say it's horror. It hasn't tried to legitimately scare me, but this is a game that is very vibes based. Like I like vibes. Between the sound design, the music, how they set up the environments and the encounters, like it's very just kind of a grab you and immerse you in this world thing.
It looks very like this is that game that every time I see it, I'm like, it looks like Death Stranding for a hot second.
Yes,
just because of the fucking character.
100%. Also the poncho, but yeah. No, the interesting thing that this game is, they're designing it strictly for Nick. I'm going to say it right now. It's designed for Nick. When you start up the demo, and
tell me more.
I can corroborate this in my experience. It pops up with several warning messages saying, "Hey, there is no map. That we're not going to tell you anything. You have to learn everything organically from conversations and what you find in the environment. We're not going to tell you where to go. We're just going to let you figure it out as you go."
I do like that. Sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes.
Yeah. And the only instances of me getting a quote-unquote objective is me running into a person. They're telling me about a thing, and then I can go choose to find it somewhere in the world. Like towards the end of the demo, I find this man who is just mourning his wife, who is cradled in his arms, and he is weeping next to a fountain, like a pile of corpses, and he is begging. He's just lamenting that he could not reach her in time and save her.
This is like Eastern European. Like, and who made this game?
I don't know. Rogue Factor is the studio.
I don't know.
Published by Nacon. Nacon?
Yeah, it's published by Nacon. And he says, "I don't think I could move on without my wife's amulet, but I wasn't able to make it to the village before it got burned down." And so it's just this natural, organic sub-objective that you can go find and bring back to him to help alleviate his grief. But that's the thing, is like there's the way you get into the tutorial dungeon is you find a soldier and he's fucked up, and he says, "Please go find a med kit. If you go through the woods, I've marked the trees to follow the path along to get there." And this feels kind of like an actual forest. Like it feels like a natural trail I'm going through. And yeah, I'm following these.
You got to use your eyeballs.
Yeah. The first guy you run into, he says, "Oh, you want to get back to the road where there's this an APC that you can use to drive around? Yeah, go through the woods and follow the wind chimes. I left that for my kids, for them to find their way through the woods." And yeah, you follow the wind chimes, you eventually find your way. There is no way, there is no map, there is no way for the game to tell you otherwise for you to go from point A to point B.
And is the world like seamlessly interconnected, or are you going between like loading screens between maps? Like what is the?
It is. I guess segmented maps that you traverse via the APC. So the starter dungeon area with the forest, the demo ends with you getting the APC and going to the next map. And you finding yourself on the outskirts of that village.
Gotcha.
The art director for Deus Ex, we met that guy like E3 or something. Remember?
Well, it's the voice actor for Adam Jensen too. Like it's Elias, whatever his name is the protagonist. Combat wise,
Montreal. That was you. That was Eidos Montreal.
Yeah.
I
know. I remember who you're talking about. Yeah.
This game is developed in Canada, in Quebec.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that checks out.
Yeah,
okay.
It's
probably some of those people after that studio got.
Dude, this does look like my jam.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie.
So in terms of the combat, the cool thing I like about it is besides this gratuitous parry system, where it's a very precise window to pull off a parry, but when it does, it gives you that satisfying like sound effect and visual animation to play it off.
Feedback.
Yeah, feedback. This has a Bloodborne-esque kind of like health regeneration system going for it. Where it encourages you to attack and counterattack aggressively. And when you do that, a temporary meter pops up on your health bar. And if you press the right button at the right time, based on the visual effect on screen of like these white lights around you, you gain back that portion of health. And since your stamina is it maxes out based on your current health value, it really encourages you to go in aggressively instead of like dodging and trying to block.
So it incentivizes getting good at the parrying at the
well, not necessarily the parrying, just like the counterattacks and going after the enemy, not necessarily letting them have a chance to actually attack you. Yeah.
Cool.
The drone is kind of cool when you find yourself in a situation where you are facing multiple enemies at once. You can use it to distract the other enemy for a set period of time. And there's other mods you can do for the drone that are going to be in the game. I don't know what they are. But there's an encounter I did later in the demo where I was fighting like 5 enemies at once. And I had to rely on the drone. I survived, but it was a cool encounter. But yeah, this
reminds me of what was that other like kind of sci-fi Souls-esque game? It had 2 games that came out a few years ago.
You talking about the Lords of the Fallen developer?
No,
the one with the mech arms.
Yeah, the mech arm. What's the name of that game? Where you had a mech suit or whatever.
Surge. What is it?
The Surge.
The Surge.
Right.
The
Surge.
That sounds
right?
almost
The
right.
Surge?
Something like
yes.
This is giving me Surge vibes a little bit, but I'm saying that purely based off of like vibes and visuals, and not so much about the gameplay. I remember. I don't know. Whatever. It's giving me those vibes. That's all I'm saying.
It's this is so far pretty cool.
I am going to download this demo and play it. So
it's really worth it.
And it's coming out in September, so
yeah. No, that's pretty much it.
And you said you had one quick mention.
Oh yeah, real quick. There was
a twist.
There was a public playtest for a game called Ferocious that's being published by I forget the name.
It don't
anyway,
matter.
It's basically it wants to be like Far Cry with dinosaurs. It is.
Careful.
This is like the first public playtest of this game. It feels like this game is at least 1.5 years or 2 years out. It is slow. It's considerably janky. The sound design is definitely not finished. It's like the second level of the game.
Oh,
and
this
like
game. I saw something about this game a while back. Yeah, this does.
Yeah. Like the protagonist doesn't even have like a voice at this point. He just has like subtitles that pop up when he's reacting to certain events. The one kind of interesting thing going for it is that it has this thing called the DCD, which I can only think it stands for Dinosaur Communication Device, in which you get close enough to a dinosaur and you pull out this trinket, you hold a button, and you can analyze the dinosaur's speech patterns and communicate and command them.
What?
So there's a bunch of little ancient temple places where you can command this little bitty like a foot tall dinosaur to go in and pull out a stick, and it opens the door for you. And later on in the demo, there's a sequence where you actually can command a Triceratops to attack a bunch of enemies. It's things like that. I like what they wanted. I think they want to do with this game. They shouldn't have done the playtest at this point. This game needs at least another year of development. They need to rework all the sound design because they've got good ideas, but it's so imbalanced and so canned.
Far Cry with dinosaurs is a tall order, and
it is 100%.
It's easy to fuck up.
Yeah, it is 100%.
But
if we're talking about Far Cry, the only thing I want to see is the fucking little ultralight helicopter from 4. Because that was the funnest thing in any Far Cry game I've ever played, was flying around that little helicopter, like dropping Molotov cocktails on people.
Oh, the gyrocopter? Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's all you need. I don't care about fucking dinosaurs. I don't care about story or cool villains. Like,
well, I'm not even talking about like
the fun sandbox gameplay of.
No, I'm not even talking about like the design of like the Ubisoft Far Cry's. I'm talking about like Far Cry 1 with segmented maps on a tropical island.
That's why when you were like Far Cry Primal's sick, I was so like, you're crazy, because that was the game that came right after the game where like I was flying around in a helicopter dropping bombs on people and just having a fucking blast, and you're running around naked with a spear going, this is Far Cry. Like, no.
Yeah, dude, it was so sick. I love Far Cry Primal. Yeah. Fuck gyrocopters.
Dude, fuck you. Fuck you.
Awesome. Fuck
that
off,
was the
Nick.
coolest thing in that whole fucking series. That whole bullshit series couldn't wrap its head around what was fun. Okay.
Also, yeah, it's a Tiny Build is the publisher. The developer is called OMYOG.
The bow was cool. Which I have to assume that Primal had a bow, right?
Of course Primal has a bow.
Okay.
It's like your main weapon.
Don't give me that fucking tone, Nick. Like,
yeah. Yeah, man. Far Cry Primal's peak. All right.
Well, that's debatable, but okay.
Of course it's debatable. I know I'm in the minority on that, but I do...
You're entitled to your wrong opinion. It's okay.
It was fun that they did the whole Quest for Fire thing where, like, they were speaking some kind of like made up gibberish language.
Dude, the whole game is a made up language. Like, that's part of what I love about it. Like, and you can play the game, and you should play the game without English subtitles. Like, you're literally just trying to like make sense of the story through like.
That's interesting. That's fun because like,
it's got nothing else going for it.
Shut the fuck up, Brad.
I don't know. That's like an exercise in like viewing a story that like I don't think you would ever say that about a movie or anything. Where it's like, oh, you should switch it to black and white, turn off the audio, and like put on a soundtrack and just try to like vibe out the scene as it plays. Like the fact that Far Cry Primal is the game that like really is opening up your idea of like experimenting with like storytelling and experiences.
There was
really
actually
funny to me, but
there was actually a movie that I went and saw by myself because I couldn't get Robin to go see it with me. Out of Darkness. I saw that last year. That's a movie that's kind of like Far Cry Primal in that it's like Stone Age and there's no like understandable language.
Oh yeah,
so, like,
I remember this.
But it's like a horror movie set in the Stone Age. It was actually pretty good. But yeah, it's definitely an exercise in the same kind of thing, and I enjoyed it for the same reasons. So, all right, guys, let us do it. Let us wrap up the 4-player podcast. Wait, okay, sorry, I fucked that up. Sorry. Let's wrap up the show with the 4-player minute. Brad, are you ready?
Yes. My 4-player minute is going to be me to rant about the final boss and / Act 3 of Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Listen, if you are playing this game and you have not finished yet, this is not a spoiler. After Act 2 ends and you get into Act 3, immediately go to the final boss and try to finish the game. Because if you don't, and you do any... But it's the fault of the game. They fucked up. Yeah. They give you an airship in the big world where there's all kinds of floating islands and creatures and stuff, and they're saying you can go do whatever you want or you can go finish the game. Everyone, of course, is going to go, well, I'm going to go do some shit and get powerful. You start getting really powerful pictos and weapons, and it gets crazy, right? And like, even if you're not like going nuts, even if you're like barely diving into the menus, like Nick or whatever, you'll do enough of the shit out in the world that when you get to the final boss of the game, you are like, dude, when I say you're overpowered, it is, you'll literally one shot every phase of every final boss and kind of ruin the moment.
The final boss never even had a chance to attack me.
So here's the thing. It's bad. And like, people told me, well, just remove painted power. The thing that breaks the damage cap.
I said that.
No. that's not enough. I removed every single damage boosting Picto I had, including Painted Power, and you're still way over. You look at the fucking turn bar on the side, and I go like 8 times before the enemy goes, even in the final boss fights. You're literally skip.
Because of other things.
Skip.
Yeah.
And then the enemy goes.
And all that
yeah,
stuff.
my speed stat is so fucking high that like you have. And it's such a whack way to even try to like handle that situation where I had to nerf myself so much just to get a little bit of extra dialogue in those fights. Because by the way, there is dialogue in those final fights. And if you're one-shotting them, you're not getting that stuff.
Yeah.
They fucked up. They shouldn't have handled it that way, or they should have had a final boss that's scaled at least kind of to your level.
Yeah,
because it is they undercut like a really like I think like those final like handful of boss fights are like in terms of the story like really cool and exciting, especially the final fight. Right, like that's like exciting, like high stakes, like oh shit, we're really doing this. But to have it to be like game system wise to be a complete joke is a complete failure in terms of like story and married to gameplay like moments. Like they ruined it. They fucking ruined it, and it's their fault. And it's like, I think the game is incredible. I think it's incredible. It's exceptional. I love the story. I love the endings. I don't know what y'all did. We'll talk about it eventually, maybe.
Yes.
It's one of the few games where we actually all finished like together around kind of the same time. We could actually do a spoiler cast. It is a game worthy of a spoiler cast, but man, if you get to Act 3, just go finish the game. There's a lot of cool stuff in that world. Just do it after. Or you're going to ruin it. And it's a bummer. Now, with that said, there is a new Jacob Geller video everyone should watch. Jacob Geller, he's, YouTube essay. He's a GOAT, right? Absolute. One of the best to ever do it, right? But he did a video on Clair Obscur, and of course it is great. But it is a completely like, you have to finish the game, Crispy. I messaged you in Discord.
I know,
because I know you watch Jacob Geller videos.
His new video.
Watch the first 6.5 minutes because he does a beautiful job of setting up the story and the world and stakes and all that, as he does. Watch the first 6.5 minutes.
He's gonna use like beautiful florid language and make an impassioned emotional argument and talk about what a joy art is to the human experience. No. It's not about that. Stupid. Watch the first 6.5 minutes because I think it'll convince you to play this game much more than like we can by just berating you for not playing. Just go watch the first 6.5 minutes because you'll be like, whoa, this shit seems good, cool, and you'll play it. Play it. So, but don't watch the whole thing because that game goes places and it does things that are like bold. I thought
shocking, and you should not have that stuff spoiled.
I thought you guys were like kind of joking and being lame about it, but I have caught several screenshots of this game recently, and every single time I'm like, is that fucking what's his face?
Batman. Oh, Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. I'm always like, is that Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, you need to play this game and stop looking at who looks at screenshots.
No, I'm not looking up screenshots. I'm like existing in the world, and people are just like showing me their favorite French RPG, going, "This game's so pretty. I love it. It made me want to talk to my kids again." I don't know. Like,
no, I mean, honestly, just go watch. Honestly,
dude,
just go watch the first 6.5 minutes of that video, Crispy, tonight, and report back, you dumb bitch.
Okay.
The Robert Pattinson in this game, which again, the funny thing is, if you're not familiar, if you don't really know what's going on with this thing, Robert Pattinson is not in the game, but the character model looks exactly like Robert Pattinson.
Weirdly,
and
like illegal.
The funny thing is, I would argue that's not even the only character in the game.
That looks like Robert Pattinson?
That mimics another actor that's not the actor.
Oh. You can tell they were mood boarding pretty hard. It looks
there is a character that every time they're on screen I'm like, is that No.
Is it who? Is that Andy Serkis?
Who's the actor?
There's a character that, to me, anyways, every time I see him, I think it's Pierce Brosnan.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
But it's not.
But
it's not.
That one French chick has to be in the game too, right? Leah Seydoux or whatever.
You'd think, but she's not.
Mm.
But man, yeah, Brad put it pretty great. Their mood, or is that Crispy? They're mood boarding really hard, and like it almost seems like it can't be legal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fantastic. I agree with everything Brad said, but I wasn't even that mad, even though I did
mad.
pretty much.
I was mad because I think it could have hit so much harder.
I agree, but like everything up till the boss fight, I was just like kind of like floored by. So
yeah, but you married.
I know,
I know. It is an
know.
amazing gameplay game in terms of in terms of systems, combat, like as an RPG. Those moments when you see the introduction to like phase 2 of Simon, and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, and you die. But like they set it up that way, right? You feel that and you know, there are times earlier in the game where you're facing off against like Renoir where you're like, holy shit, this is scary. Like you should have been like feeling stuff at the end in terms of like gameplay fear, and you didn't, and they fucked up. They fucked up, man.
Unfortunately, if you let yourself go too far, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube on that one. So
yeah, like the only thing
go
I'll
back
say,
to the bottle.
It's their fault.
I know
They
it
should have
is 100%.
set it up differently. They should have set it up differently.
There's nothing that you can't do after the final boss. Like there's nothing. There's
You can't give people an airship and say, but don't do any of it.
I know,
right?
it was bad. It was a bad. Like should have literally just forced you into the final boss and then given you the airship afterwards. But
also the way we will go into this at the eventual spoiler cast, which we're going to schedule right now. Like the thematic way the endings play out doesn't necessarily play into like everything else in Act 3 that you could optionally go do.
Yeah,
being narratively right.
It's one of those games, once you start down that path of like doing all the optional stuff, it's really hard to stop.
Yeah.
So just
the minute you find out like an area
boss.
entrance is no longer danger mode for you, you're like, oh shit, let's go check this out.
Yeah, and that happens a lot. So yeah, follow Brad's lead on that one. All right, passing it over to Chris Davis. What's your 4-player minute?
Well, I'm really glad that someone else is finished. I encourage. Well, Nick is finished now, so there's 3 of us now.
I have. Yes.
So we just need to get one more person that we know to just even start up.
We need to get him to start the game.
I just need him to watch 6.5 minutes of the new Jacob Geller video.
Then the rest will happen naturally, is what you're saying?
I just wanted to play the prologue, the first 15 minutes of the game. If you cannot get through the first 15 minutes, you are a soulless person that I don't want to even know.
15 minutes.
It's like
you have to
30 minutes
debate
to an
whether
hour.
you should have children or not and stuff. It's more than 15
Oh, yeah,
minutes.
it is. That's fair. But like it's first 45. Anyway, my 4-player minute, I'm just hyped for, Gamer Hanukkah / announcement.
Yeah.
I'm hoping and praying that we'll see some delightful surprises like Ace Combat 8, like other things.
Wouldn't that be funny?
I don't even give a shit about it
possible.
coming out like in 2 or 3 years. I just want confirmation that it exists. I want to feel how happy I was again when 7 was announced.
Bitch, you better hope they announce it that it's coming out this year. That would be a miracle. An absolute miracle for your fantasy critic.
I don't give a shit about Fantasy Critic. I don't give a
he's
shit.
done in fantasy.
I'm just trying to manifest it into reality. That was my goal on January 1st. That's my goal come December 31st.
I'm just saying, if you did manifest it and it was coming out this year, that would be 2 years in a row. You've manifested something that was wild.
I mean, yeah, sure.
That counted on your league.
Sure.
Just
yes.
saying.
Lovely. Yeah. I otherwise like this week has just already been kind of shit for me, so I haven't really cared about anything. I don't even give a shit that the Switch is launching in 2 days. Crispy, by the way, after the
Is
meeting,
that really in 2 days?
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
I don't think. I think my order says it's arriving on the 11th.
Well, you might have gotten one of the late things, but I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, mine's coming late too.
I mean,
hey, I got an idea. How about
like...
next Tuesday we just do a spoiler cast, and Crispy can go play the game that day, and
I'll join
I'm
the
not gonna have
call
my Switch.
muted while I'm playing.
Yeah,
Interject.
dude. That honestly,
just cut us off of the conversation. Yeah,
just make
and
it
we'll
real.
We'll just wait till the moment that Crispy is truly hooked. Probably right at the end of the prologue, and then we'll spoil everything for him, and he'll be like, "No, I love this."
We'll discuss this off the feed and figure out a time to do that.
Hey, y'all, have I brought this up? Have y'all heard like the argument that like, oh, actually, you study somebody did a study, and actually people who had the story spoiled ended up actually appreciate the story more or whatever. You ever heard about this?
I have not, and I don't buy it.
And that sounds
it's horseshit. It's horseshit that people misreport.
So reasonable.
People misreport on that. The research is like, oh, the studies show that the people who had the story spoiled appreciated it more, which sound like horseshit. I looked into that study more, and it's actually like people like misreport it. It's people enjoyed stories where they're like framed with like the ending first, like where they're spoiling like something that happens to like a
it's told out of
plot
order.
Or a character or whatever at the beginning of the story versus like the end. And I'm like, yeah, probably because those are more like artistic, like interesting films where they're doing interesting things with the structure as opposed to like a more traditional like chronological narrative or whatever.
Like what
so I'm not
movie? Name
like
a
that's
movie.
what? Like, I don't know, fucking
that matters.
Memento or something, Pulp Fiction, like something that doesn't have a traditional structure.
They're doing a study on spoiling movies, and they're focusing on things like Memento and Pulp Fiction.
No, you're not listening to
I'm
me.
not,
saying
I guess. I don't know what you're saying.
That's the study that people reference when they're saying, oh, you take spoilers too seriously. But that study is actually about something completely different.
I'm not referencing any study when
I'm not even talking about you.
Okay, but what I would say on the subject is that like it makes intuitive sense. We all have movies that we like, right? That we've watched more than one time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You ever watched a movie you've seen before and been like, well, this sucks.
Yeah,
I know
but
what's
like
gonna happen.
I have done that actually, yes.
Yeah, okay, but like the movies you actually like, were they actually good movies the first time, and then the second time you're like, well, it was a good movie, but I'll never see it again. Like now it's a bad movie that I don't like.
But that's not a valid. But okay, guys, I don't want to get into this, but like that's not fair either. But like even if that's true, like that doesn't mean the first time you watch the movie you want to know what's going to happen before you see it. Like that's a totally different
that's
argument.
fine, but
like I'm saying, like they weren't even talking. That
you guys act like that.
Like
the first time you watch any movie is always going to be the best viewing of that movie. That
No,
you had.
Well, that's
which is
not
just
true.
ridiculous.
I did, like Mulholland Drive is one of my favorite films of all time, and
Yeah.
I did not like it until like the fifth
until
time
you watched like 4 times. Yeah, exactly.
You know, on that subject, I will say this: if I could recommend any movie like that, one of the most exciting films I've seen of that nature in the past couple years, Strange Darling. Excellent fit. If you ever watch Strange Darling, it is
I just think if you watch a movie the first time and you're like, this is great, and then you watch it again and you're like, this is boring, then it's a boring movie. Like it's just not a good movie.
That's fair, but I feel like that's also a different argument. All right,
I've had movies. Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's
Crispy, are you ready to do your 4-player minute? Or sorry, were you?
I don't fucking have anything to talk about. I don't know. I played a bunch of Monster Train 2, and it's okay. It's fun. It's I don't know what it is.
I played a bunch of Monster Hunter.
Does everybody hit like this crazy like 40-hour wall with every single roguelike that they play?
Yes,
where like
that's a real thing.
Where like you progress a lot the first 10 hours. And then you don't progress at all for the next like 40 hours, and then maybe one day you progress past that point, and then you're like, oh, like okay.
And the floodgates open.
Yeah.
It's a floodgates.
Am I stupid? Like
that doesn't happen to me anymore.
Roguelites bog me down every fucking time, and I love roguelikes, but like I definitely hit that point in Monster Train pretty early where I'm just like, okay.
Did you do any of the dimensional challenges?
No, I tried it one time early and was like, this is...
It's crazy. Like there's some really cool like challenges in there, like weird challenges in there. You should go in there, especially because you unlock factions. There are 10 factions in Monster Train.
10?
There's 10.
No.
Go into the dimensional challenges. You'll unlock more factions. Now,
I'm not criticizing the design of the game or anything either. Like,
are you going up in Covenant rank? Are you going up in Covenant rank? Because every time you beat the game, you go up in Covenant rank, and the game is getting harder.
I've never gotten to the last fight yet. I haven't even got I played for 20 hours and I haven't gotten to the.
Okay. We should do a stream together. Because I beat it like every time I play it, so we should talk.
I guess I don't know. I think there's also. I think this also has that card game thing too, where like. Any mechanic or like faction or characters that I think are cool are the worst, and the ones that are the best or the most like meta are like the ugly boys that I don't want to fucking talk to, you know. Like, I mean, I don't know what that is.
Everyone's good. You just have to know how to play them.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever.
Who are the ugly boys?
I don't know. Like, the people I'm not picking. Like, the characters I am picking are... I will say, the most success I've had is with the Angel faction, the Banished or whatever.
Yeah, I think they're definitely the easiest.
They have that, like, Avenger unit that's like a dude in armor. It kind of looks like a cleric with a mace. And... if I buff him up and then just like copy him as many times as I can and build a deck around that, super easy game. But
there's some stuff I can help you with. I bet I know where you're running into issues, and I can go over that real quickly. Stuff like, by the way, you can see the bosses, what they're gonna do like ahead of time, and you should like on the map you should be planning for those things, stuff like that. Anyways, yeah. Nick, take us away. I got a
word.
Fuck.
Okay. Well, no secret here. This is inevitable. The real reason I'm having trouble concentrating on gaming and everything. Dexter Resurrection, baby. Trailer's out. I'm so fucking hyped.
Hold on. Can we? Everyone knows you're fucking hype, and we're so tired of it. But we're happy for you. Listen, can I add to this part of the conversation by saying that like. Malia is like really excited for Dexter Resurrection after watching that trailer, but here is the rub. She's done this to me before. I'm ride or die with her, obviously. I have 2 fucking children with her.
Yeah, of course.
But she refuses to watch the fucking prequel series. She like
Why?
She watched an episode of it. She's like, I don't like this. I don't care about this. It's a prequel anyways. I don't give a shit. She's excited for Dexter Resurrection. She doesn't care about the prequel series. And she's like, I'm not going to watch that. We don't have to watch it. I don't want to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm still very excited for the new Dexter. Now, in your brain, you're probably like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Well, I get it. But she likes Dexter. She likes Michael C. Hall. She doesn't care about young Michael C. Hall.
Okay.
So, I'm like, first of all, you care. I'm telling my wife, I'm like, you care about Dexter way more than I do. But like, this is unhinged behavior. I am not going to watch Dexter with you unless we watch this prequel series, because what are you doing? We famously stopped watching Buffy. She loves Buffy. She convinced me to watch Buffy. We made deals. I finally was like, fuck it, we're going to do it. We finally started watching Buffy. When we got to Angel, she says, I fucking hate Angel. I'm not going to watch Angel. And I'm like, you brought me here. We are watching Angel with Buffy back and forth. That is unhinged behavior. Or I am not watching Buffy with you anymore. And she's like, well, I guess we're not watching Buffy anymore because I'm not going to watch Angel. And I'm like, that is not normal nerd behavior. This is how I know my wife is not a nerd. Because a real nerd's like, well, I have to consume all of it. I mean, what's the point if I don't consume all of it? It's crazy.
Okay.
Like, she loves something and refuses to watch something that is so important.
I will say this:
to it.
I don't have the exact same experience, but there are sometimes, like my wife will. I will occasionally run into something where it's like this, like there's a movie coming out. I'm like, I know my wife's taste. I know what she likes. She's gonna be into this, and I show it to her, and she's like, not interested. And I'm like, what? And then I have to end up going to see it by myself. Like, I can't get her to watch Sinners. She's like not interested. Yeah. Although I think she's starting to come around on that. She's gonna wait till it's out.
Wow, that
to watch
could
it
just
at
be
home.
A race thing.
I knew you were gonna fucking say that. But like, there's just some like it happens. It happens frequently. Just
she's done that. She's done this shit before with me.
But
she refused to. Yeah, go ahead. She, like the Harry Potter prequels. She loves.
Well, those are bad.
Harry Potter. But she loves Harry Potter, and I'm like, oh, well, if you love Harry Potter, like even before, she doesn't care that if they're good or bad.
What the Fantastic
if they were 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, she wouldn't want to watch them because like I only care about Harry Potter, like literally the homie and his friends. That's the story I like. I don't know what this shit is, but that's not what I like, so I'm not going to watch it. So she's never seen one of those.
I mean, that
she loves Harry Potter.
That is unhinged.
No, she read Harry Potter. She watched the Harry Potter movies, and that's all she cares about or likes.
That's
but
fine.
They're doing a series that's just the books again.
Oh,
yeah,
maybe.
HBO.
Maybe she.
They
yeah,
recast
maybe
all the characters as kids, and
doing
the series.
Real quick about the Dexter thing. While I do think that is unhinged behavior, it's not like because they're literally opposite ends of the timeline. Like there's not a ton.
But
of connective
it's
tissue.
probably
I know,
connected, right?
I mean, they're probably gonna. They would be dumb at this point to not be trying to like create.
Isn't there story revelations and shit in that prequel series?
Some, but not like.
Not that important.
Not that I think is going to have much of a ripple effect all the way to the
so we don't need to watch
timeline.
it. We're just going to watch this new one.
No,
and not finish.
I mean, I would say
that Yoda and Chewbacca were friends the whole time.
I mean, look,
why I don't watch any Star Wars anymore.
I will tell you. I will say this, Brad, and I think that is unhinged behavior because everybody who has watched that prequel series, who is a Dexter fan, has come away like shockingly impressed by it. Like most people are like so on. Dude, people were like really excited throughout that entire season.
Not like critics who write reviews for like Metacritic.
No, it was received critically. It was received well, and it got a second season renewal. It's good.
Sure.
Really good.
No, I'm pushing it because I think it's like unacceptable. It's like we can't. I mean,
I agree.
You're not a fan. This isn't fan behavior. This is absurd.
I will also say this: of the prequel series, the first episode, probably the weakest episode of the whole season.
Okay. We may have watched 2. I don't know.
But anyways, that's just my thought. Anyways, I'll leave it at that since we just okay, guys, that's our show. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week to talk about we might be doing a spoiler cast. I don't know, but it also seems like a logical thing to maybe come back and talk about what actually did transpire at Gamer Hanukkah / Summer Game Fest. So I don't know. We'll figure out logistics, but in the meantime, make sure you join us in Discord at discord.gg/4Player. We'd love to have you. We'll keep everybody apprised of the plans, and of course, we'll be back next Tuesday night to do this all over again. So thanks for listening. In the meantime, you can find all of our episodes on your favorite podcast service or on 4playernetwork.com. And we'll catch you guys next week. In the meantime, be good to each other, play video games, and good night.
Bye.
Bye.